well, but they don't win those engagements, and they don't innovate at all. And the big question on everyone's mind, and I talked about this earlier, is will Sisu be able to innovate? Will they be able to bring something new to the board this season? And are they going to show it with Barrage? Are they going to bring out the big guns here?
They're showing it, I feel, with Border already. Border is not a map that
Absolutely.
Sisu would have taken before.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, and on the note of the map pool, Border and then Chalet, I think it is honestly. I think the map pool is going to favor Sisu here in this lineup. I mean, you know, even with the Sisu picking Border over Chalet, and that being something kind of what we don't expect, they are going to be then coming into a map they are extremely familiar with, and obviously they've practiced Border into the ground. Like, there's no reason for them to pick it otherwise. So I think they're going to have a strong showing on Border, especially because they've clearly practiced it. They know what they're getting themselves into, and then on Chalet, they know that map. They know that map. I mean, it's going to come down to how confident Barrage is on Chalet, and if they are the team to then innovate.
So looking at Border, and looking at, we're talking about innovation, we're talking about new things, we talked about how Mira has shaped and changed that map massively in West Play, but we also haven't touched on the fact that Glaz and Montaigne are still a massive thing here.
Yep.
And they also can affect this map quite heavily if used correctly.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see if one of these teams are going to be, because we saw with the North American meta, not so much Montaigne. We saw him picked, I think, 3 times, or maybe
Something
4
like
times,
that, yeah.
4 rounds.
It wasn't as much as we expected.
We expected it to be every round, which is what we were seeing in previous events, but we only saw him picked a couple times, and we saw Glaz picked pretty much all the time. There were a couple of 1 or 2 rounds where he wasn't.
75% of rounds Glaz was played out of like 34.
Yeah.
But the other thing to note is that Wilkie was a Glaz player back in Season 1 when everyone else hated him and he didn't have a thermal scope and he was not. Wilkie played Glaz all the time anyway.
So we expect to see probably Wilkie bringing Glaz instead of Capital, and that makes sense, a lot of sense. But are we going to see the Montaigne meta continued in Europe? Are they going to try and...
Or really started in Europe. We said NA didn't have it. They didn't touch it.
No, I guess started in Europe. But is he falling off? Is what I'm trying to get at. Is he falling off as an operator compared to like the Glaz? Because we talked about earlier last Pro League or day. Glaz brings what Montaigne brings to the floor in a sense, where he has that smoke, he has that invulnerability, and he can challenge anyone. But we're getting straight into the match, it looks like.
We are going straight on in then. Finally then, Sisu versus Barrage, kicking off the European Pro League here on Border for game number 1 of Group A, coming up right now. They are kicking us straight out of the gate with a Montaigne from Sisu, but we aren't getting the Glaz anywhere yet. As for defense, Barrage are bringing a mirror to the table, not bringing a pulse, which is what I wanted to talk about just there before the game started. Yeah. Yes, Montaigne is great. Yes, he is coming back into the meta, but on a map like Border, unless you can get a pulse out from underneath, there's actually not a lot of places he can go without being exposed to that damage from below.
Yeah, no, and I am kind of surprised, as you said, with not the lack of a pulse here on Border. It is similar to Chalet, similar to Consulate, with all of the maps we're seeing here today. It is a very vertical map. There is a lot of pressure that can be put up by the defenders from underneath, especially on this particular map, because over in the east side of the building, you have the east stairs, right? And any roamer can pretty much pivot around the east stairs and hold underneath office and hold underneath the B site or even underneath the A site without any serious pressure coming from the attackers. They have to sacrifice at least a minute and a half to kill anyone who's roaming downstairs unless the roamer makes a grave mistake and exposes themselves unnecessarily. So this is a heavy roamer map from underneath, and that is an interesting hold. Just for a camera? All right.
But it can also could be used for a run out later on if there's people repelling and whatnot.
True.
You saw he also 2-punched the window around that corner there too from the northwest. So they've got run out options downstairs now, as Barrage do, and if that camera survives, well, they'll get a lot of information from it as well.
It's worth noting that not all teams will open up this particular building as much as on a map like, say, Canal. There's not as many run-out options, or teams won't execute them as frequently. And that shows from Barrage, that shows familiarity with Border. That means that they're confident here. That means they know where and where they want to apply that pressure as a defensive team running out.
Yeah, spreading out a lot too on this upper floor.
Yeah.
They do have a very spread out attack coming in from Sisu at the moment though, with Shatter downstairs, with the Montaigne here on this window and one player in support of him, but then Ash spread at a distance. Shatter has got in underneath the B site, but a Claymore right under the trapdoor in preparation for someone to potentially late rotate down. Panari is taking a bit of damage inside CCTV at the moment, but now he's starting to once again aggress on towards the side of the site.
They're very spread out here on this attack. They're clearly going for an office take. Oh no, Montaigne!
Montaigne down as soon as he came inside the office. Polo hiding around the corner and then baited towards Quantic. Turns his back to that bandit. Montaigne straight down and out of the picture very quickly and early on. And that means Kanto Raketti here on his Hibana has to rethink his strategy towards his office take.
That was just a poorly thought out move by Montaigne. Unfortunately, nobody droned for him. He had no idea that bandit was sitting in that corner waiting. And that's just, yeah, well, that's truly unfortunate. Like you said, they're going to have to rethink their entire attack strat here.
The Jaeger over there in the mirror. As the nade tries to go through towards Polo this time, but one, the trophy system takes it out. Two, he has moved a little away. Pre-fire comes on through while Panari has taken down Tank Ninjas, that smoke player on the other side. Polo gets another one now, this time onto Kanto Raketti. He's finally getting helped out as Thompson C falls down Panari, and Wilkie will get one back for Sisu, taking out Jugger. Now we're looking at a 3v2 in favor of the defensive team. Two players still holding this office firm and having control of the the diffuser, as Quantic will drop down into that pre-placed Claymore. Polo finished off by Wilkie, leaving Thompson now in a 1v1 because Shatte was downed before Quantic landed on that trap, on that Claymore. Thompson inside the site now, knows what Shatte is downed. Diffuser is down inside, he misses these shots through the wall, hitting the floor with a lot of them, which is going to allow the revive to go off. Shatte back on his feet, Wilkie just around the corner with him. Can't quite see through the bullet holes he's made for the movement. In comes Shatte, the shots go out, Shatte wins out that trade. And Barrage from a 3 versus 2 defense go on to lose.
Yeah, that bandit opened up the round pretty much for them by taking out that Montaigne, which is the main driving force in an attack like that. But ultimately, Sisu just got the picks, the rotation from the defending Barrage player who dropped down and landed on that Claymore, putting them in the advantage. It was a good round by Shatte to just walk into the building. He had no fear. He walked straight into the building. Obviously, his teammates were probably droning for him. He put that Claymore for the rotation because he knew it was going to be there. And it was just a well-thought-out execution. Honestly, though, I really would have liked to see Barrage be able to take that round home, especially with Montaigne off the board that early. Again, that's a huge driving force in that attack. And wow, we're going to be seeing from Sisu a ventilation hold instead of an armory hold this time.
Yeah, and well, up against them, they're bringing both Glaz and Montaigne to the table.
New meta, new meta, new meta. Lots of smoke on that lineup with the Ash, Glaz, and probably likely the Montaigne. So that's about 9 smokes for the Glaz to work with. And I don't know if they're going to be ready for a defensive ventilation rather than armory, though. Are they going to be prepared to only take upstairs, or do they predict this? With the lack of a thermite, it leads me to believe that they probably did. They're not going to be able to get into that wall that Shatte is putting the mirror on as easily, since they don't have the thermite, but they will be able to pressure the mirror off with the Hibana.
And as you say, using both Glaz and Montaigne, who do similar jobs now, they should have an easy time taking control of that floor. Montaigne in from one way, smoking and glazing in from the other way, and just being able to shove these guys out on that top floor, getting themselves some control. But we'll see how it shapes up. So they'll spawn in from the valley and begin to drone their way through CCTV and the staircase.
It looks like they're going to be, like you said, trying to take CCTV, and then from there they're going to stage their attack probably onto above ventilation in the armory. And then once they have upstairs control, they're probably just going to try and shoot down into the players anchoring in armory. But it all depends on if they can take armory in the first place, because you see here Wilkie, he's playing with that mirror and that SMG-11. He's ready to hold this. It all comes down to if Hibana can get the charges on the mirror.
He's going to have to duck back as the grenade is pre-cooked right through to the wall next to him. He does keep keeping eyes on people in the doorway and tries to pre-fire his way through. Sees Tank Ninjas right there in front of him, comes around with the shotgun in hand, does down him and finish him off with ease. He also tagged Thompson through the wall behind that buck. Thompson's a little bit low because of it too now. He's looking for the Ash, who's pre-firing it, but low, and actually gets away with it. Thompson on the Hibana picks Wilkie off this time, and his shotgun shells didn't do any other serious damage to Polo or Thompson in the process. So they are back to a 4v4. Panari is low, often inside the site where he is, but they haven't got full control of this top floor yet. They are using this Montaigne to get on in there, but Glaz is yet to really make an impact himself. So they're slowly pushing the top floor, but with a minute and a half on the clock, they've got to speed it up a bit. Panari inside the B site.
Oh,
Shot
no.
C4 from below takes out that Montaigne. And they're going to lose the Glaz here as Panari gets 2 through the wall with Polo going down 2, leaving Thompson now in a 1v3 situation. He's looking down through the holes in the floor at people maybe stepping out of position, but with 2 players still on the floor with him and just the one below, he has the diffuser in hand and will look to rotate down. Drops right next to a player, but is unaware. It does miss him through the pre-fire in the wall, but now they know exactly where he is. Kanto Raketti has rotated down, Shate as well, meaning all 3 defensive C2 players are now on the lower floor, leaving just Boonsi's Echo Drone up here on top to keep an eye on Thompson's possible rotate back up. And it has happened. He should find it with that drone in a moment. They have watched every rotate back down that Thompson can go with. Only 45 seconds to play with. And he is above this trapdoor. Just as Kanto looks away from it, he drops down through, but it's not going to change much. Kanto shuts him down anyway, and Sisu take round 2.
A great round from Sisu. A little bit too aggressive by Wilkie with that smoke. He probably could have stalled that out for a little bit longer, but it ended up not mattering, given that Panari was there to trade it back. And the C4 from underneath, getting rid of that Montaigne, was extremely helpful. If he hadn't done that, if that C4 hadn't gone off, then Panari wouldn't have been able to get the double kill that he got, because Montaigne would have been blocking that doorway and thus his line of sight. But now 2-0 for Sisu. It's looking pretty good for them here. They won their first attack round, even though they didn't have Montaigne throughout, and now they're going to have him again. And it looks like European meta so far is heavily favoring the Montaigne. We've seen it every single round, even though we've only played 3.
You say it's favoring the Montaigne. We've seen it every single round, but it's actually been a null factor.
It hasn't done anything,
Died
right?
very early in the first round. In the second round there, he got outplayed to the point where they knew, all right, well, he's going to come this way. We'll bait him in. We're going to hit him at this doorway. As soon as he is, we have the bomb site below. We just C4 the floor. And
you have to wonder if, especially on border, you have to wonder if it would be more sensible to just bring somebody with a rifle who could contribute to these engagements.
Say right now, like I said, as soon as the start, yes, Montaigne's big in this meta, yes, Glaz is big in this meta, but Border is a map where vertical destruction is powerful, and I was surprised by the no pulse in the earlier rounds because he's perfect at doing that, but when your team is coordinated enough to do it without pulse, that's what just happened there against Barrage, so that's why perhaps we don't see it from Sisu, but at the same time, it makes you think, all right, well, if that's the happening, why are you consistently bringing this operator that is very easily exploitable on such a map?
Yeah, it is a little confusing. And then we're going to see that also with every single map in this matchup. They're all extremely vertical based. Chalet probably being the least so, but even Chalet is pretty vertical. So are we going to see both these teams just begrudgingly stick to their meta? Are they going to try and force Montaigne to work, or are they going to adapt?
Well, for now, Sisu giving it another shot. Once again, Boonsi now here on the east balcony. This time heading up to the doorway instead of the window. The window, of course, he jumped into and died very quickly. The doorway, he is currently not getting any kind of attention until he starts to punch it a second time over, and then the shots will rattle above it. Polo, though, picks up the first kill of the round onto Panari over here in CCTV.
We have a pulse, so Montaigne could be stopped, but the pulse is playing in CCTV.
Now, they have been very destructive so far, so he may have the trapdoor open to allow him down to the floor below, in which case it would give him access to the floor underneath it. But we'll see. They do have a smoke playing inside the lockers instead, so that may be their plans, right? Pulse isn't there, but we do have a smoke to keep them out instead. They're just holding firm for now, making sure they wait until they have absolute positive information. Shate, though, is once again playing down below. He had that pre-play C4 Claymore, of course, last time around. There's 1 doing that, 2 waiting down there himself for that rotate underneath this time. So another reason that Polo hasn't gone yet. Smoke grenades are starting to come out already from Tank Ninja's smoke, locking Boonsi's Montaigne outside that door. But with a minute and a half on the clock, he can't be using them too early.
They're just trying to right now, what they were trying to do was bait out those smokes, but now it looks like they're going to mix up their attack and try to push in through offices. Juggernaut has nothing to stop this Montaigne.
No, this time they did drone and make sure there was no bandit behind him, so Montaigne gets straight on in. They drop down through the trapdoor again. This time, though, no Claymore to take them out. So Conte gets below, but Shate was there to manually kill him off instead. So they are into a 4v4. Ivana charges coming off onto the wall. Boonsi's pushing in and takes Jugger down before taking 1 in the back from Wilkie. Wilkie then gets down from across the corridor by Thompson, and that's prompted Boonsi to go and cover that angle himself. Turns his back for half a second, takes a bullet or 2, but Switchful's back just in time for Kanto Raketti to finish off reviving Wilkie. With Jugger gone, it's 4v3 now once again in Sisu's favour, and they still have 45 seconds to go. Shatter's taken out Thompson, who is still just waiting for people under these trapdoors. Pulse is going to see him going up the staircase and finally gets the kill in return, but he's now the only player left alive because Tank Ninjas fell down to Boonsi upstairs, and it's now 3 versus 1. He is heartbeat censoring, looking for the planters, but he cannot see it. There's a man on the stairs he missed. There he goes down to Wilkie.
I have to hand it to Shate. I got to give him MVP for these early attack rounds. Every single round, Barrage, they've had the flanking options open. They had 2 players in CCTV that round. They were trying to. They knew that the Montaigne attack was going to come from offices. They were trying to stop it from behind. It ended up not mattering because Shate was there to stop the other roamers from rotating out of the site and getting their flank on. He got 2 players in the first round, I believe, and he got 3 players there just watching the flank from underneath.
So, time to go upstairs then for Sisu. They, of course, won downstairs earlier on as it is locked out for them. So now they'll look for armory and lockers themselves. Barrage's attack setup is exactly the same as before, but the lack of Glaz is now apparent as they're bringing Ash to the table instead on Jugger.
And it is interesting to me a little bit that they are bringing a Montaigne instead of an Ash. Again, we've been talking about this. It's like he's not actually done anything of any consequence. That last round, he blocked off the hallway to make it so that his teammates could push into the site. You're right. But
he also picked up 2 kills.
But it's not as much as, yeah, he did pick up 2 kills. He did a lot of work. But it's not as much as we've seen from Montaigne in the past. And Team Barrage, when they last brought Montaigne, they didn't make him work, but they were attacking ventilation. Now they're going to be attacking armory. Are they going to try and push into offices? Are they going to try and push into B? Are they going to go for an A take, something we haven't seen very much with Montaigne?
Well, here's what we need to watch again. So what we saw is we saw Sisu there using Montaigne very effectively because Barrage's plan to counter it was to get underneath again and C4 it, and every time that happened, Shate
was there to stop it.
Now, the same strategy, I'd imagine, is going to be here from Sisu. The traps are all opened again, they have the rotates down, they have Wilkie on pulse again, and if they see this Montaigne coming up top, I'd imagine they're going to start to pressure him. So who do Barrage put underneath to stop those rotates, and can he do his job?
It's really, I'm really wondering, this is, I think, the test of Barrage. Are they going to be able to read that, though? Are they going to know that that's what they need to do? And it looks like Buck might be the player to be doing that. He's setting himself underneath. I think he's just trying to get people out of CCTV, though. Yeah,
he's just checking the predictable spots in CCTV, making some holes behind the desk and making some holes in spots where you're used to players sitting, which was very close to Wilkie for a moment, who is now heartbeat censoring Thompson right outside the balcony. Catches a second heartbeat now too, and we'll know this one is Montaigne because he can hear it. So the C4 is pre-pulled. Throws it over towards the door frame. It will blow and actually do no damage at all because Quantic was deeper into the room than he expected. Now though, it means Thompson has rotated around to this other window and will start to try and pressure onto that Pulse that they now know to be in there from the side window. However, I believe Pulse is hidden from it for a moment. Polo comes on through and, well, he gets the kills on Panari, who missed a lot of his shots. Kanto Raketti comes in and cleans up with 3 kills of his own, sprinting across from the other room to help clean up the mess that's in CCTV, leaving just Tank Ninjas and Jugger left alive. Downstairs. They have to rappel on up now and will come onto the balcony looking in towards CCTV. Chatter's there looking through the mirror window, does miss that peek onto Jugger, but now they know exactly where he is. The Pulse is just about surviving. Jugger sprayed through the window too by mere millimeters, but they know both heartbeats are out on that balcony now, and everything from Sisu is focusing this way. Grenade comes on in, Jugger sprints across, misses Wilkie, Wilkie misses too. And with 1:17 left to go, Tank Ninjas and Jugger need to think of something quick here. Tank's gone back down below and is looking for more damage from underneath, but Wilkie's just straight running away as fast as he can. He doesn't need to stay in harm's way anymore. And Jugger has got himself inside CCTV, opening up that balcony door on the east staircase now. Wilkie just waiting for an opportunity. Kanto still looking towards CCTV. Wilkie will fall to Jugger, who pushes in his stairs. He's got Tank Ninjas with him now. Looking down the main corridor. Kanto Raketti headed downstairs. We'll come up into that in just a moment. But they are pushing in through the office now. They've still got to get through both Boonsey and Chatte though on that side of the site, with Kanto potentially flanking. Chatte looking over towards that east balcony still. So Boonsey's there with his smoke grenades. He's starting to use them now. 35 seconds on the clock. He can ban out this entire round timer now with smoke grenades. Inside the small room. He is keeping them pinned outside. Jugger using some charges to take up in the barbed wire. Shotgun still in Boonsey's hand. Another smoke grenade goes on through, and that's the last one. 15 seconds to go, and that will hold off 10 seconds of it. Chat is coming across, and he's going to take down Tank Ninjas. Boonsey's there to stick his shotgun right inside Jugger and finish him off for 4 rounds to nothing.
That attack looked like it was going in Barrage's favor when they couldn't, or when Sisu could not deal with the Montaigne and the Thatcher coming into CCTV. However, that was a clear case of Kanto Raketti just not caring, and he waltzed out of the site, killed 1 player on the balcony, ran back into CCTV, It killed the Montaigne, I'm not sure how. Killed the Montaigne, looked like he was looking towards the pulse in the corner. Yeah. And then just continued to spray onto the Thatcher. That was an excellent round from Kenta Arcade, and that's exactly what Sisu has been needing. That's the initiative, just the determination to just, okay, I'm not really playing in CCTV, I'm playing in sight. But you know what? My friends in CCTV need...
All right, welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We are good to go in that number 2 between Sisu and Barrage. So let's jump straight into that without further ado. It is going to be Chalet, a map which we already say is favoured Sisu historically through time and true. And after seeing them play Border, it doesn't even seem like they need the map advantage. They are just outclassing Barrage today.
It is Barrage's pick, though. Now, I think if Barrage is going to win a map, it's going to be on their pick, and it's going to be because they have researched Sisu. Now, I don't really know that it's going to make much of a difference based upon the fact that we just saw 5-0 on Border, like you said. You know, it could be Barrage is just not in a good place right now as a team. Maybe their mentality is a little bit shattered. But if Barrage has done their adequate research on this particular map, it is entirely possible that they're going to be able to directly counter Sisu. However, I say that, and then we look at Sisu, what we saw on Border, and it's not the old Sisu. This is something entirely new. This is a new beast. So it's possible that Sisu has totally reinvented their Chalet, and as such, this could be a matchup that is unpredictable.
Well, to kick things off in attack, they are once again bringing Montaigne to the table. They are still bringing that fuse that they did before, which is, again, as you say, not surprising on a map this vertical, on a map like this. And when you can use the Montaigne to take control of that upper floor so easily here, and fuse down through, nicely done. But that's what we just saw on Border, is that taking control of a floor above the bomb site can leave yourself exposed to a very easy C4 from below. Will Barrage be able to pull that off on the Montaigne if they use him in Master Bedroom?
And that's really interesting to me. They're defending...
But there is a Valkyrie.
There is Valkyrie. Okay, yes. There is C4. Even Bandit could have some C4. However, why forego the pulse sensor? Why not use that?
Valkyrie's cameras.
Yeah, okay, you could use Valkyrie's cameras, but they put one in the lobby, and they're going to put one outside. Where's the third one going to be?
The only other place she's been is Master Bedroom.
Oh, she already threw the other one in the Master Bedroom?
I think so. I haven't seen it, but she went in there. She did the trapdoor in Master Bedroom, so I'd imagine the third one went in Master Bedroom.
So there's probably one in Master Bedroom. So yes, they have the visibility, but still, again, it's like, why forego pulse on this particular bomb site? Like, even with that, what if they shoot the cameras? You know, there's all these different factors. Just bring a pulse, you know? Extra C4, extra information. However, this is really interesting. They're going to be holding upstairs.
They castled the window and the door there.
There have been a couple of teams, and it looks like, obviously, Sisu, they are reading this play. They know it's going to happen, and they've set up Kenta Arcade directly to counter that, so that whoever rotates in or out of bathroom, and they have to rotate in and out of bathroom because they've castled off their doorway. They can't rotate otherwise. Or actually, I guess it's broken now. Kenta Arcade with a pick through that rotation.
It's onto Polo, who tried to rotate back through the Valkyrie once he was pushed away from the window by that Montaigne.
Whoa!
Oh, nicely done, but Chateau immediately countered Jugger straight out. So okay, you lose your Montaigne, but you've got control of the top floor now, and you've killed two very important players here on the Barrage lineup.
That was really impressive from Sisu, reading that defense and saying, okay, we're going to do something that no one's ever really seen before. We're going to put somebody on radio tower, which, by the way, I've never made that call before. Put somebody on radio tower and establish a crossfire on your hold upstairs. And now you're two-man down. You've got Sir the Montaigne off the board, but from the past, we've seen from Sisu, that doesn't really seem to affect them.
The Montaigne, to be honest, has already done his job too. Taking control of the floor downstairs, he wouldn't be much help. maybe going from dining room perhaps, but they don't really need to do that right now. They can just fuse the hell out of kitchen and dining room and then drop through the kitchen hatch. In which case Montaigne would be surrounded, but we'll see what the plan is. There are 2 people in trophy right now, and if C2 know this, the push from dining is probably on its way.
And it looks like it's exactly what's going to be happening. They've probably done their adequate droning, and now they're going to try and probably get rid of this barbed wire with the grenades, push straight in, deal with that smoke playing in dining. Now this is interesting, there's 1 minute left, and Smoke has 2 smoke grenades, so he can stall out the majority of this round simply with the smoke grenades.
Yeah, he uses 1 up there, so he's only got 1 left in his hand now, but as you say, it's only a minute to go. There are, however, still 3 players upstairs for Sisu. I think that 1 now as Kanto is left alone up there. Wilkie dancing up and down the staircase. Quantic is coming up from below. Kanto now has rotated all the way around from his sniper tower, and well, Sisu are setting something up here, but they're taking a long time to do it. Wilkie unsure about where he wants to head, looking towards the kitchen window perhaps, waiting to peek over there when the push comes in from dining. Shatter is above Tank Ninjas in dining, and here they come. Peeks up as Panari goes inside. He will, however, fall down to Thompson inside the kitchen. Thompson now is spoiled for choice and can't kill either. Shatter and Kanto take Quantic and Thompson down, but Tank Ninjas will find off Shatter afterwards. He's now flotated back around from above. Do they know he's coming from behind? I don't think so. Panari's looking the wrong way. Now he's looking this way, and it's enough to pick off Tank Ninja's head.
An excellent execution from Sisu, reading the Barrage defense. They clearly know exactly what they're going to do, and they've established themselves in a way that will, well, they put a crossfire on every single thing they took. You saw, they had somebody on radio tower, which again, wow, radio tower, and they had somebody playing on the windows for the balcony to master in office, so that's a crossfire, right? That's, you know, you can kill the 2 people who are playing upstairs. They did just that, and then when they went downstairs to execute their attack through dining, they had somebody playing on the kitchen window, and yes, it didn't work out for them because Wilkie got picked off playing on that kitchen window because it's pretty easy to die there. But it ended up not mattering with the 2 entry frags coming in through dining. They were able to trade it back and lock out that round. It was really interesting to me is what the Barrage Smoke did. He, instead of trying to hold that, maybe get 1 or 2 kills on the board with his SMG-11. I mean, you're dealing with an Ash and what was it, Habana pushing in through dining, pushing through lobby into dining. You got an SMG-11, you've got a shotgun. You're going to get at least 1 kill from that engagement, maybe 2. So instead of rotating around, maybe try and trade it back for your team and give yourselves a chance to, bring the round back in your favor.
Oh. It did not work out, and now it's time for Sisu to hold. They've got double mirror windows inside the trophy room here. 1 looking into kitchen and 1 looking, of course, into west main, but they're actually then completely leaving the trophy room unattended. Wilkie and Shatter staying down around that area and may look to hold on to it in a moment, but they've still got a little bit of time in the prep phase to make up their mind. Kanto Raketti heads over towards the library windows. These were the same windows he, of course, was looking at from that rocket tower a little bit, so he's cautious of the play from here, as the rest of Barrage are now coming in quickly, sending their Montaigne actually over from this angle, over from the library side of the map.
And it looks like they're going to be trying to take control of the top floor, starting with library. Not a lot of teams do this. Usually what teams will do is they'll start with master office and then progress their way to library, but they're deciding, you know what, maybe that's not going to work for us. And actually, maybe, judging by the fact that they're going into gaming room, or opening up gaming room at least, they might be trying to execute straight into dining instead of taking control of the roamers.
Already dropped Montaigne inside games room, and while Panari is taken out by Tank Ninjas, this means Kanto Raketti is actually behind the Montaigne. He just doesn't know it yet. Shots coming through the wall towards Kanto, and he will dodge away from them and not do any damage in return, but just about makes it out of there alive. Looks towards the window, and Thompson got up the ladder this time, takes down Kanto, but Wilkie will answer on Jugger for the first kill for Sisu. He then manages to duck his way back down to safety through the basement and gets back towards the bomb site. Montaigne up on the top floor now, comfortable enough to drone through and down towards the library. They have the whole top floor. Barrage have control of something. But they have the numbers advantage as well now. So they start to pressure onto the floor above dining, which is now empty. Wilkie, however, down the bottom of the west main staircase, is creeping his way back up as Shatter takes a fair bit of damage too. So pressure is being a little bit of an
abnormal take from Team Barrage to establish themselves dominance on the top floor, and it worked out for them. It looked like Sisu just wasn't ready for that particular attack. They had the players in position to stop it, but they ended up not battering players getting picked off without trading back. It was a good roam by Wilkie to get that kill on the board on Ashe, because if it weren't for that, they'd be in a severe, extreme disadvantage right now. But 3 versus 4, sure, they've lost control of upstairs, but there's only 56 seconds left on the clock, and they clearly have a plan with those 2 mirrors in the trophy room. They are ready for that take coming into the site. They just have to be able to hold well enough.
Barrage don't seem to know where the hell they are. They're making all these holes in the floor, but can't actually find any of them. And now they're realizing they don't have the time to find anymore, so they're going for the push. Wilkie's hiding in the laxing bush. The other 2 were in those mirrors. Tank just does take Shatter down because he was already low, but will be down for his trouble. They don't know if they have time to go and pick him up. Polo is going to actually make that sprint across to master bedroom, but Wilkie will have heard it. He comes out of the laxing bush. He's looking to go up there and pinch them on their way back out again. Are they ready for it? Tank Ninjas isn't. He will fall straight back down again. Polo isn't in there in time to return the kill. Quantic and Thompson now inside the kitchen are going to start to plant, but the smoke grenades are coming out. The C4 is going to go on the wall next to him, and there's this plant stop. Wilkie gets that kill. Quantic pushing forward, has to figure his back, and now he'll fall to Wilkie. Polo has dropped, picked up the diffuser, gets a good kill onto Wilkie, but Boonsy's on the other side of that wall for an easy free mirror kill. And Sisu, after losing control of that top floor pretty quickly, to be fair, with their 3 remaining players, hold firm, make some great decisions, and win the round.
That, you got to hand MVP for that round to Wilkie. He played a fantastic game. He traded back on his 2 roamer losses by getting that Ashe, and then he maintained incognito until the exact moment when he had to show his face and get the kill. He finished off that. Okay, I have to say, Mira maybe not playing it super smart, getting prone in the hallway. You know, Buck being able to pick her off so easily, but it didn't matter in the end because Wilkie was ready to trade it back again, and you know he stopped the plant as well. I mean. MVP Wilkie that round. That was a really good kind of just operating around the attack instead of taking it on full frontal.
Barrage then now looking to defend that same spot again, Kitchen Trophy. They also lost control of that top floor very quickly in their last attempt, but what Sisu did was then manage to hold Kitchen and Trophy all the whole way through from the 3 remaining players. Barrage couldn't. As soon as they lost control of the top floor, the holes were made, the picks were made, and they just had nowhere safe left to sit inside the site. Sisu had somewhere safe, so let's see if Barrage have learned from that. Either they can find somewhere safe to sit once they lose the top floor, or more importantly, maybe just not losing the top floor at all.
I really hope we see from Thompson a castle barricade on the bathroom window so that we can stop that. Yeah, exactly. So we can stop that radio tower. But it looks like he's going to keep his 3rd castle and use it somewhere else maybe. We can't see from this angle, but not on the bathroom window. And that's really interesting to me is because Sisu directly countered your upstairs hole last round. You saw how they did it, and you're not going to try and stop them this time? Looks like Kento Raketi's not in the position to do it again. I guess they're going to try and handle this attack in a different way.
Yeah, maybe so. But we'll find out how and if it works out, or if they decide to go up there. It looks like they're going to push in from a different angle for that reason. This is why Kanto's no longer there. They're going to go for an office take using the Montaigne coming that way instead. Now this is, I would argue, a little bit more dangerous perhaps. The dining position is far easier to hide underneath and perhaps see for that Montaigne, but as you mentioned, there's no pulse and there's definitely no Valkyrie camera inside the office. So it takes serious communication or luck. Polo inside the master bedroom is low. His C4 goes against the window and doesn't do any damage to Chate at all. Chate is going to try and return with a grenade up and over the bed. It lands next to Polo, but doesn't do any serious damage to him. Polo's still though cautious and downstairs. Quantic will be taken out by Kento Raketi quickly this time over. Only a minute gone on the clock, and the pressure is really mounting here for Barrage. Another grenade coming out now from Chate, up over the bed towards the fireplace. Polo still just about survives this one. His feet are mere inches away from Chate's crosshair, but Chate, of course, is unaware. Kanto, whoever coming in the corridor after taking out Quantic, says, all right, I'll finish Polo off now. Enough of messing around with this. And then once again, they have control of this top floor now. And the master bedroom is completely in their hold. There's Tank Ninjas, though, in dining room. Does actually take Boonsy down through the floor. Tries to smoke him out before he can get revived, but it will not land. And they do manage to get the Montaigne back on his feet. Wilkie's picked Jugger off from outside the trophy room window, so now that they've lost control upstairs, Jugger had to move a lot. That gave Wilkie a chance to kill him. He just saw those feet of Thompson through the drone hole. He's now going to be aware that Thompson is inside this site as well. Kanto's finished Tank Ninjas off through the floor into dining room, and just like before, lose control of the top floor, and Barrage fall apart.
What is that, a 3K for Kanto right now?
It is so far, yeah.
So he's going to be going for that 4K, hopefully.
Wilkie got the last one. He's now going to possibly get this one as well. Yep. Oh, Wilkie and Kanto, 2s and 3s for that entire round.
Okay, so I just have to say, this is exactly what we've all been wanting to see from Sisu for a long, long time. I think the addition of Kanto, Raketi, and Panari has been giving Sisu the drive and the push that they need, because you have the players like Wilkie, for example, who are playing, you know, the same old Sisu, and it's working because you have Cantor Ketty and you have Panari who can make those pushes, who can get those entry frags, who can force the issue. And it's kind of like a 50-50 thing. You need both of those. You need the patience, you need the conservative, strat-based attack, and then you also need somebody who can just go in and get the kills. And it's working magically for Sisu here. 3-0 and a 5-0 on the last map. We could see the next 10-0, which would be the second time since CTM 10-0'd. I think it was Flipside.
Yeah.
So. This is this is a fantastic showing from Sisu, and unfortunately from Barrage, they're not really showing us what they were anticipating, which was, European champions.
I do like this setup for Garage though.
Oh yeah.
Bringing the Thermite, of course, they knew they're going to be downstairs. They're bringing both Glaz and Montaigne,
and a Thatcher to get rid of the batteries, and that's like.
Yeah, but like those two operators alone, and obviously you can Thatcher and you can Thermite either end, right? You can do the Garage wall or you can do the Wine Cellar wall, but both Montaigne and Glaz should have an easy time taking control of whichever end you choose to go into there, right? They both do a great job of, as you mentioned, just smoking out, just pushing people back, and just shoving them away. This bomb site isn't the most vertical on the map. It isn't the easiest to flank on the map, and with both of those there, they should have a great spot to push Sisu out of these sites.
Yeah, and in a lot of team roster, or a lot of lineups, when you have all these different operators, you have various different functions that are executed by, so like a Fuse who helps with the vertical, a Buck or a Sledge who does the same. But in this particular team attack lineup, pick by Thompson onto Panari, one of the roaming, or one of the anchors on the site. He failed to bandit trick the small garage.
Yep, he didn't get through the bandit trick as the mirror window did not do him enough. That bandit charge made a hole in the wall and blew the window up. That's allowed them to Thermite their way in now, and now they've got this Glaz outside. The smoke grenades and drones can start to go on out towards the bomb site.
They're applying a lot of pressure to this small garage now. I'd expect to see probably Glaz stay out here. Wow, Cantor Ketty with a pick back onto Polo.
That is the Thatcher, and his job is done because the garage wall is already open. So it's not the biggest loss in the world, but a kill is a kill. And we've already seen what Kanto does once he's picked up the first of his many kills each round. So we'll see if he can continue that role going.
That's the first time that the roamers on this particular map have done a whole lot of work besides Wilkie, who was kind of a pseudo-roamer. He came into the game late. Oh wow, Glaz just pushing straight into the site.
Can't finish off that down player, but he's still in the smoke right now. He is, however, inside Boonsy's smoke, which has meant Boonsy can predictably figure out where he ran and sprays him through the smoke, taking that Glaz down. They also then managed to revive Shate because the Glaz couldn't finish him off after downing him behind the bomb. And after all that, Quantic is still nowhere to be seen. I would have liked to see him coming down here and Glaz coming through the... Well, I mean, I see why you don't put two people doing the same job in the same angle, right? But he should have been here when Glaz went in. They mistimed that push completely. If he was here when Glaz did that, he'd have been able to trade that kill and get Shate off the stairs and stop the person that was reviving Shate. And now, Smoke goes, oh, you're not at the garage door? I can divert my attention to back alley and finish you off here instead.
You have to wonder if Barrage is getting a little bit flustered here, but they do get the pick on the Wilkie. So now it's 3-3. They have a whole minute to work with. There's plenty of time in this round. It's entirely possible they're going to be able to bring this back, but they still have to deal with Cantor Ketty, who is just sitting upstairs.
And they know he's upstairs. This is where he got his original kills from. They did get Wilkie. They were not letting him be as unpredictable as he was in the previous round this time over, but they haven't, as you mentioned, dealt with Canto. Chatter finishes off Thompson. He will still be on this staircase, and Canto's decided to take the safer route round to join him here instead. Boonsy now back inside the site as the Montaigne comes through the main doorway. Shate finds himself behind the bomb and will be taken out as they distract him with a C4, and now it is Montaigne against 3. And yeah, he's pretty strong right now, but what did we see inside the...
against 2 players.
Against 2 players. Kanto helps him out, but yeah, does so. Quantic pushes into the connector, and Kanto will shut him down from behind. I think he just didn't want Shate to get the kill, because Shate did enough work on border.
Yeah, it was like, sorry, Shate, it's this is my job.
I think if we look at the score slide right now, it's probably Kanto then Shate, but Shate would have been above if Kanto hadn't got that kill. I think that's what he did there.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to hog all the kills for himself. He's trying to raise his KDR. That's what's happening.
That sounds like Kanto.
So
4 rounds to nothing, and right now I don't see anything from Barrage that suggests they're going to get around here.
So let's talk about that Barrage lineup. On the attack, usually you have multiple different roles, right? Like a Bluck for vertical or something like that. On their attack, they had a Habana and a Thermite who fulfill one role, so that's one role. You've got a Thatcher who fills his own role, and then you've got a Glaz and a Montaigne who both fulfill the same role. So you only had 3 roles out of 5 operators on that attack, and that could work. That's very concentrated. You obviously have an idea of what you're trying to get done. However, like you said, Montaigne was late to the party. They didn't establish the crossfire they were clearly trying to put up. Sorry, Montaigne wasn't even late to the party. Galaz just jumped the gun. He rushed himself into... okay, smokes don't make you invincible, all right? They allow you to they give you an advantage in an engagement. And he clearly had the advantage on the Mira, rather, and as she downed her, but he couldn't finish her off. So it didn't... It was just all a mess.
Yeah.
Barrage, their attack
the plan
was a
was
little bit
there,
uncoordinated.
but when it came to actually doing it, it fell apart.
It seems like the sort of thing that they maybe haven't practiced as much as they should have, or maybe Barrage is just a little bit flustered by the
I want
fact
to give
that
them credit, right? Yeah, as I say, they're in the Pro League, right? They made it here.
Right.
I don't think that kind of practice isn't there. They practice it. They definitely had that practice. But as you say, this is the Pro League stage. This is their first time on stream. I think they just a little bit of the nerves going through. But this is all guesstimating, so we'll see. As it is, Sisu are once again up towards the library very quickly, taking a third different entrance to the map using Montaigne. Once we saw Master Bedroom, then we saw Office, and now we're seeing Library.
This is the opposite of old Sisu. Old Sisu used to find one strat that worked and execute that exact strat on every single, like, okay, they're attacking kitchen. Well, then we're gonna do the one kitchen attack, and this is their third attack for upstairs, the third variation. They are not taking any chances. This is very impressive from Sisu. They're really Montaigne's pushing downstairs.
Yeah, they droned this bandit. They found out him straight away. So they, after pushing upstairs and took control of it, they found out the bandit's down here and they're going straight for him.
They're wasting exactly 0 time.
No, but Jugger got shot from behind because of it. Wilkie, however, is there to cut off Quantic's escape, and they do get the kill to trade it, but they have lost their sledge player already, so it's not a completely free escape, but beautiful done. They go in upstairs, they take control of Library, they find players downstairs, and they rotate down to catch that roamer, and they've already got Wilkie in spot to catch him up. They already were ready for him to come through and run away. Like, the communication has seemed to just leveled up in massive, massive levels.
This coordination is unprecedented. This is like this is top tier play from Sisu. This is, honestly, this is something we've never seen from them as a team. This is incredible. They have a strat execution for every single variation of a defense, and they're doing it perfectly. But here we go. Pulse underneath.
This could be good. Yeah, it is. Montaigne goes down. Thompson picks up that kill. Doesn't touch the Ash, but the important work has been... Sorry, Kanto doesn't touch the Hibana, but the important work has been done. Upstairs now, though, there is still one more inside the room. Jugger falls to Kanto before Tank Ninja takes down Panari. It is still 2v3, but we've seen the numbers advantage be in the favor of Barrage before, and yet they've not managed to pull it out of the bag. So we'll see if they can now. Thompson, Polo, and Tank Ninjas all inside the site, holding firm, as Wilkie will start to fuse down into the corridor and into the kitchen.
If this is going to be the round to keep yourself out of the history books in a bad way, Barrage, this is going to be the round. Like, this is their last chance to avoid a total 10-0 annihilation in their first Pro League match.
So, Thompson downside in trophies, heartbeat censoring in towards West Main. He will have got sight on at least one of these two, perhaps both now. There's the charge going off right above Wilkie. He needs to get lucky with the barrage is here. Goes on in. Tank Ninjas is right there with a smoke in hand, and Wilkie will pick him off. Into the kitchen he goes. There's a man right next to him. Oh, Polo, you needed to get that kill. Now Thompson's alone, and Wilkie gets the third to shut out Barrage in a 10-0 victory in explosive final fashion.
I think that's the second 10-0 in Pro League history of all time. Again, the first one being Continuum versus Flipside.
PC Pro League history.
PC Pro League history. Correction, thank you.
6 Invitational had one in the Xbox final.
Elevate. But wow, a fantastic round from Wilkie at the end there, just completely clutching it out. As we talked about earlier, Sisu has been down in the man advantage before, and they just always managed to pull it out.
Told you, Kanto did his way above Shate.
Yeah.
But wow.
He wanted that. He wanted that place on the scoreboard.
But after the way Wilkie played, being top of the board is no surprise. And Wilkie has always been that guy. Yeah. Whenever you see a big victory like that from Sisu, Wilkie's up there at the top of the board. When you've seen these big clutch play clips from Sisu, Wilkie was regularly that man. And now he's got 2 new players in there around him with Panari and with Kanto, who can play
with that aggression
on equal levels of aggression with the consistent supportive players of Bunsi and I forgot the last one, sorry, Shate in there. Just working effortlessly side by side.
And I was talking earlier about how Wilkie is that player who played. Wow, this was a fantastic round by him. Again, I have to say, like, Wilkie totally won that round for his team, kept keeping them in the 10-0 streak. But I was talking earlier about how Wilkie is maybe one of the more passive players. He plays around the enemy team, and he does that fantastically. But he can really show up when it's necessary.
Yeah, like you say passive, but it's aggression in a calculated way. Exactly,
yes.
calculated aggression. It's not just running around like an idiot and shooting fast and shooting quick and getting kills.
He got a little bit lucky with that smoke, though.
And this one, to be fair,
yeah, he got
Mute should have really got it.
There was a little bit of luck and a little bit of whiff on Barrage's part to allow him to clutch that, but it was still impressive.
Yeah, but like back to the whole calculated aggression. The round before, he was Valkyrie round, as you say. He wasn't running around like a lunatic, just killing quickly and getting lucky and shooting. He knew exactly what the enemy team were. He was gathering information from the cameras and from his team, giving it to him, and he moved from each spot to each spot, knowing exactly when and where to be there to pick up one kill, and then getting away and getting out safely to do it again.
It was perfectly calculated, and moreover, in their attack strats too. Like, okay, they have Montaigne pushing down into Snowmobile, which is something we don't see a whole lot of. We see roam hunter hunting, but not usually with a Montaigne.
Well, again,
and then we had Wilkie on the back door waiting for the guys to come out of Wine Cellar. I mean, it's all calculated. Their entire attack strat and their entire defense strat is all they don't know exactly how the enemy team's going to play.
Well, that's the thing. That was the beautiful thing about that Montaigne. It wasn't calculated to the sense that this is where he's going to be because this is what's going to happen. It was, we're going to push library with the Montaigne, we're going to control the top floor with the Montaigne, clean the rumors, and then we go, oh crap, the rumors are in the basement. Let's push them out with the Montaigne in the basement. Wilkie, this means you've got to come down. Like, old Sisu would have just gone, oh, they're in the basement? Well, we'll just take control of the top floor and do a thing on the top floor and let them be and hope we get lucky.
I'm guessing, honestly, based upon what I saw there, I think it was a calculated strat because if you just take a Montaigne, you put them in the library, you force the roamers down. They have to go down. They don't have anywhere else to go. So you have Wilkie be ready to establish himself on the only place they can really go. Okay, so you deny top floor, right? Roamers have to default downstairs. The only way they can get back to the site is to go through the wine hall. So they clearly knew that, and they were ready for them to come back. And I don't know. The variation in strats, again, we just talk about that's the third variation in their upstairs take. The third one for Sisu. That's impressive. Not many teams actually bring that many strats to any map at all. Like, and this is Barrage's pick. This is the map that they wanted to play, and their strats are all kind of.
Sisu just showed exactly why we think you don't play Chalet against Sisu, and he's like, well, you want to pick it, but this is what's going to happen.
It's the same thing that happened with LG and Era. You don't play Chalet against Era. You may think you know that map, but you don't know it as well as they do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yep, nope, that is it for Sisu Barrage. Week number 1 in the bag for those two teams. Sisu will advance to the winner's bracket game, and Barrage will head down to that loser game for their second chance at redemption. We will on to a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the second game, the first one from Group B, Vitality versus E2 eSports. Thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll see you after this short break.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. We're here with the second matchup, the second series for the European Pro League, Playday number 1. I am your host, Sean Bloodbath Rosenbaum, and right next to me, you saw him earlier, it is Kickstar. Kicks, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm looking forward to this next matchup. Wondering if we're going to see another 10-0, although however unlikely. But yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It was amazing. And I mean, so what we're getting into now is our next series, which is going to be Team Vitality, the PC team, going up against E2 eSports. And I believe we have someone from E2 on the line ready right here for an interview. I believe his name is Razor. So let's go take a look over at him and see if he's ready to chat a little bit. Razor, how are you doing today?
We're fine, thanks. And you?
Good, good. So how has your team been in practices recently leading up to today?
We were watching some videos from Twitch, some rebroadcasts. We're practicing our strats, and we just will try to show our best.
Are you feeling good about your chances of winning today?
Yeah, we are pretty sure we can do that.
Awesome, awesome. So what are some of the strengths of your team? What do you feel that your team is very good at?
Our team is really good at shooting, I guess.
Okay.
We are not too strong at the strats, but we believe in our shooting aim and so on.
Awesome. Is there anything you would like to tell the Rainbow Six community about yourself, about your team?
There's nothing to tell actually. We're just 3 Russians and 2 Estonians, so.
So you're gonna show the community with your gameplay.
We just want to show that we can fight with the best European teams.
Awesome, awesome. Well, good luck to you, Razor. Good luck to you and your team.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was Razor from E2 Esports. And as you heard, that they are a team of 3 Russians and 2 Estonians making their way here into the European Pro League.
Yeah, and this is they're a relatively new team, as we talked about earlier. It's similar to Barrage. They haven't really been seen very much. And here's their roster. They've got Kama, Razor, Shockwave, Karzeka, and Flippy SB. I'm sorry I messed up that name a little bit probably there, but this is their roster. This is our lineup. Again, a pretty new team, something it just entered the scene, first time on the Pro League. As you said, or as we heard there, something we didn't know before, they are really confident in their aim, and that's a little bit reminiscent of, I think, older teams from North America and Brazilian teams. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a similar playstyle from them, or if they're going to bring some new strats to the board. I mean, they said they weren't especially strong in that aspect, but maybe they're going to have something that other teams won't expect to see.
I feel like, judging by Razor's comments about them being very strong on their gunplay, their game ability in that sense, I feel like we'll see the quicker set of operators, kind of maybe not the Montaigne Shield or the Glass play, but the ones that are speedy, the ones that can win in a one-on-one gunfight, and I think that might be what we'll see them engage into.
No, I think you're right. Maybe a Glass, maybe,
possibly,
because of the new meta, but you know, he can win those gunfights, he can get those engagements down pat. But it's entirely possible that that's not what we're going to see. Maybe they're going to try and stick to their old guns.
All right, and we also have Rise from Team Vitality here with us. Let's move on over into the interview with him, as he's going to be speaking on behalf of Team Vitality.
Yeah.
Rise,
Hello.
how are you doing today?
I'm fine. I'm really glad to be here. Thanks, and you?
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we are happy to be here as well. So tell me a little bit about your team and how Team Vitality came to choose you guys, seeing as how they used to be the Xbox team.
Well, we searched for a great structure to show our skills, and we just asked to Team Vitality to trust us, since we know Furious and the other lineup from Xbox pretty well. So we just asked in, and it made it.
Okay,
So,
awesome. Well, congratulations. I know Team Vitality is a well-respected name in the Rainbow Six community. So going into today's matchup, what do you feel are some of your strengths, or what do you feel that you're going to bring to the table that E2 might not be expecting?
I think we worked hard a lot these few weeks, and I also think every one of us in Team Vitality is an asset that can reveal who can reveal his strength in on the server. So I think we will play our game.
Okay.
Like everyone else.
Is your team comprised of all French, or what are all the nationalities of those on your team?
About the nationalities, there is 4 French.
Okay.
Or 3.5 because Panix is half Swiss.
Okay.
And I'm from Belgium, so
gotcha.
It's kind of a French lineup, a French-speaking lineup.
Okay. So do you and Panix speak French? Like, I'm wondering, is the communication on your team different than others, or do you have some hurdles with communication?
No, we all speak French, so
Okay.
the communication is really good. Actually, we wanted to have a full French-speaking lineup because we trust that makes us stronger than a lineup, European lineup with different language.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Rise, and we hope you have a good game today.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is Rise from Team Vitality. Now let's take a look at their roster sheet and who we're going to be seeing from their team today.
Yeah, from Team Vitality, obviously we have Elems, Enemy, Rivan, Rise, and Panix. Now, some of these names we're familiar with. And interestingly, as they discussed, they're a full French-speaking lineup. Now, a lot of European teams in the past have had trouble with having to convert to a different language and slowing down the communication chain. So this team, being comprised of entirely French speakers, are going to have accurate communication and concise teamwork, hopefully. Now, we haven't really seen this particular team in these particular lineup, anyway, compete in Pro League, I think, before.
Yeah,
so
some of the names are familiar, but like you said, some of the
yeah.
roster's different.
And they are going to be going up against E2, another team that we haven't seen in Pro League before. So this is kind of a ghost sort of match, something we're not really, we haven't seen a lot before. I think in Vitality versus E2, based upon what E2 said in their interview, I'm guessing that Vitality is going to be a little bit more constructed, a little bit more strategic, and I think E2 is going to try and force out those engagements. But we'll find out all in due time. Yeah,
and like you had said, I feel like we might see a little bit of conservatism from Vitality a little bit, is staying more on site. We'll probably see 1 or 2 lurkers, but I don't think we're going to see that overly aggressive play that we've seen from other teams.
Yeah, but now we're going to take a look at the map pool, what the options for these teams are going to be. And here we have Bank, Border, Chalet, Clubhouse, Consulate, Cafe, Organ, and Skyscraper. And then finally, Coastline, the new map being brought into the map pool to replace Canal. Now, it's a kind of a controversial pick. Sisu earlier said that they weren't really happy with it. But, you know, I think with these 2 teams that we're seeing right now, we might see some Coastline play because they're both relatively new, and they're trying to introduce something of their own to the meta.
I think it's possible. I mean, one of the things that I do like seeing are some of the unknown teams or the newer teams come out and play the newer maps and realize that they might have a newer team, so they have strats that they have been working on or potentially that aren't seen before. Yeah. And you can easily accomplish that via a new map.
I totally agree. And I think we're going to take a look at the map bans now.
We are, yep.
So Vitality is going to be banning first, I believe, followed by E2 Esports. And I think we're going to see the newer stuff is going to come from E2 side. But both of these teams, again, see, there's the Coastline ban by Vitality.
Right away.
They're, you know, obviously being a team that's more constructed and more based in strategy, what they get from how they get to practice their strategy is by scrimming other teams. And whether or not they're a new team, not a lot of teams want to scrim on those new maps, so they can't get to practice those new strats.
I mean, take a look at Border. Border took about a season and a half before it started getting really into the meta, and now people love it. People play it. That was the first map played previously.
It's a really good map, yeah. And we're going to see Chalet banned by Vitality and Bank, Clubhouse and Cafe by E2. And it's hard to predict this ban phase. Skyscraper being banned by E2. Now, that's interesting. Skyscraper's a little bit more popular in the North American meta, not so much in the European meta, but I honestly, again, I would have expected to see something like Skyscraper, you know, E2 being the new team, well, both of them technically being the newer teams. I would have expected to see probably a pick from E2 on a Skyscraper. It is a pretty aim-based map, given that the strategy hasn't really evolved yet. But
so the final maps we have left, we've got Border, we've got Chalet, and Was Cafe banned? I think Cafe might have been banned.
Yeah, I think Cafe was. I think it's Consulate again.
It could be. It could be the same 3 maps previously.
So that's the exact same ban phase.
You think we're going to see the same 3 maps in the same order?
I don't. Maybe not in the same order. No. So okay.
Oregon.
We neglected Oregon, so it was Oregon, not Consulate. I think. So Oregon picked by Vitality.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I still feel like we're going to see Border. Like you said, Border's been coming back in, and it's become one of, I want to say, the top 5 maps played recently.
It's a pretty popular map. Everybody really enjoys it, I think. I'm kind of surprised by that pick on Oregon. It is a strat-based map, but it's a pretty dynamic strat-based map. It has to do a lot with player skill, individual player skill. And there's the Consulate. So I totally mixed up the ban phase entirely. But E2 picking up Consulate, that makes a lot of sense for me based upon what they were saying earlier in their interview. It is, again, a very skill-based map. It has a lot to do with strategy, but it also has more to do with dynamic play. Both of these maps are similar in that sense. There's a lot of verticality on Consulate compared to Oregon, but at the same time, skill-based.
Yep. All right, so Border will be our 3rd map of the night, should it get to that, and I feel like we might see it. I feel like we'll get to it.
I think so too. I think this is going to be a really close matchup, not quite like what we saw earlier today. So yeah, I think we're going to see a Border. That's going to be awesome.
I mean, one of the things that I'm noticing here from Oregon, Consulate, and Border is that they're all, in my eyes, very vertically played maps.
Yeah, I think of all the maps, Oregon's probably the least vertical, but you're totally right. They all have a vertical element. So when you're dealing with basement on Oregon, you're dealing with people are going to try and open up the drops, right? They're going to try and maybe plant on top of laundry, but they also have another option in that they can come from construction, and that would eliminate the majority of the vertical play. You're still going to get the drops in meeting hall, but on an upstairs hold, you have the opposite. You have people coming from underneath you. You can apply pressure from above, but not really, because you can't open up the roof, obviously. So Oregon being vertical, yes, but also not nearly as much as Consulate, which is the entire site, the entire map is, vertical play. And then with what was the other one? It was Border. It's pretty much this. It's pretty much similar. It's similar to Consulate. The majority of the map you can play from below, or you can play from above, depending on where they're defending.
Yeah, I guess with the bomb sites on Oregon, I was portraying on the top floor. The top floor you can play very vertical from kitchen and underneath. But like you're right, on the bottom floor inside of laundry and the supply room, there's nothing other than the drop hatches.
Right. So. Yeah. So, who knows what's going to happen, though? I'm guessing both these teams are probably going to play pretty dynamically on Oregon. I think we're probably going to see on a basement, we're going to see maybe some roamer strats instead of just some hard anchors like we normally see. And then on the upstairs, I think we're going to see people playing in kitchen, trying to, deny those grenades from that vertical play that you were talking about earlier by just playing downstairs and, killing off the players as they come in. Now, on what was the next map? It was Consulate. So on the next map, I'm guessing we're probably just going to see, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be all over the place. Tons of roamers, tons of attackers trying to kill the roamers. It's just mass chaos based upon what I've heard from these teams and about these teams.
So one of the things that I'm seeing from these 3 maps that we're going to be playing, you've got Oregon, which is like a medium to larger size map, and then you've got Consulate and Border, which are huge maps. Seeing how that's the outcome of the ban phase, do you think we'll see any kind of Jackal at all? I know there's been some talk about how when Jackal first came out, there was a lot of hype about how he's going to be a very overpowered operator, his ability to see footprints, but we haven't seen him yet.
I think Jackal contributes a lot in ranked play, in casual play, for the layman or for people who aren't competing with their team. The reason Jackal's not picked as much as he is, or as much as you might think he would be, is because when you're playing in a team format, when you've got 4 other people, and you know this, you've been a player before. When you're playing in a team format, you've got 4 people communicating information to you. Sometimes it's not necessary for you to get that extra line of information from Jackal, and then moreover, other operators contribute more utility than him. However, with these 2 teams, it's entirely possible, and you're saying in these big maps, it's entirely possible. We haven't seen these guys play before. Maybe they're going to bring a Jackal. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, no, so one of the things that you had mentioned was that when you're on a team that's all communicating, you don't need that visual confirmation on where they're at.
Right.
And I mean, how many times have we been watching the Pro League for a year plus now where we've constantly seen wall bangs or pre-fires that you don't need to see, okay, we know he's in this room, or we know he led to this room. Well, one of the things we constantly talk about is the droning. The droning during prep phase, setting your drone up for your entry point as opposed to spotting the bombs, is a huge aspect of an attacker's prep phase.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of teams, especially in the beginning, a lot of teams, what they would do is they would just, suicide their drones into the building and try and, get as much information as they could immediately. And what you're seeing from teams now is, like you said, they'll leave their drones outside, they'll pick them up, and they'll utilize them in a way that is, to win an engagement, to win, because they know the gist of where they're going to be. Usually going into each of these matchups, a team will understand kind of the baseline of an attack from another team, because that's how the meta evolves. But not always. And but moreover, like using a drone to win an engagement is usually the preferred method these days.
It's like having a mountain without a person. I mean,
yeah, it is kind of like that.
You can have insight into a room or whatever without needing to expose an actual person.
And it's kind of like one of the aspects of this game is drones are kind of equal to what you could, if you use them correctly, it's equal to like having, being able to see through walls, basically.
Yeah, I mean, technically, especially if you have the opportunity to spot them as well.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you don't see that. You don't see spotting unless your attacker's already in position and you're telling them get ready for the wallbang.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, so we are just waiting for one last player to get on in. But going back to Oregon, do you see one of the things that I've always admired about Team Vitality, and this was talking about the Xbox version of Team Vitality, was their ability to take a bomb site or take a map that you've got 2 standard bomb sites and choosing a 3rd or a 4th bomb site. Do you think the organization took some of that and then transferred it over here to PC and said, look, this worked for our Xbox players. Do you see this being a viable strat?
Well, again, I've never seen this Vitality play, so I can't really say definitively, but based upon what they said in the review, when they said, okay, we're friends with Furious G, we talk with Furious G a lot, and they helped us get involved with this organization. I think it's possible that Vitality has taken some of what Furious G brought to the table, which was that new strategy, and applied it to their game. However, we are getting into the match now. We're going to be playing Oregon for our first map, and I'm pretty excited to see how they do handle it. Maybe they will bring something new to the table like you want.
I'm hoping we do. So let's cut over to the gameplay here and take a look at the operator selections.
All right, so no Montaigne, no Glass from E2. That means this is exactly what you were suggesting, which was a very fast, very gunfight-oriented lineup where they're going to try and win their engagements. Thatcher is the least aggro on that entire lineup. There's, other than that, you've got Buck with his crazy DPS. You've got Hibana with her 3-speed crazy DPS. Ash the same, and Capital 3-speed again.
You basically have 3 3-speeds and 2 2-speeds.
Right.
So they're out for a gunfight.
Yeah. And then from Vitality, there's pretty standard lineup here. Nothing really very surprising. I like that camera Revan just put down in the lobby. That might take a while to get spotted, hopefully. And it looks like they're going to be trying to hold upstairs based upon the fact that they're reinforcing to the tower there.
Yeah, now that holding on to kitchen is something that we've only seen done a few times. Most of the time it's reinforcing the supply room wall there facing the meeting hall and staying inside a meeting hall.
But this is going to be what I was talking about earlier, I think, where they have a heavy roamer strategy upstairs, try and deny, everybody's upstairs right now, every single one of the defenders. Hopefully one of them will rotate back to hold construction, but we'll see what happens all in due time. They are going to have one player playing in tower, one player playing in kitchen, one probably in meeting hall, and then maybe one in armory/kids area.
Oh, and there goes the bang from, looks like Kazek. Saw the window open up inside a red tower and was just able to take down
Karzeka. Yeah, no, he got an excellent pick onto that Rook. That's really unfortunate right off the bat for Vitality. A battery charge up. Wow, they're really committing to this upstairs hold. They're playing this extremely hard, Vitality.
I mean, this is one of those things where if E2 was successfully droning out an entry point from red tower or from the basement, they'd easily have access downstairs, it appears.
Right. And wow, 2 minutes on the clock, only 1 minute gone, and Flippy's just got another pick onto Panics. That's 2 off the board for Vitality early on, and they're looking to get a 3rd with Rise.
Yeah, so here comes an engagement here between Flippy and Rise. They know he's in there, they saw him, they're moving him around, trying to get an angle on him. Flippy now realizing that his shotgun will not go through the shelving unit there to get a better angle. but he is calling for reinforcements here. Looks like Shockwaves is pushing down the main hall top side. But Rise does have an escape route. He's got the drop hatch opened up. He will be spotted out by the drone, and that's going to allow Shockwave to move in forward. However, the shots from the window from Kazeka will get Rise. However, Shockwave gets Flippy down.
Looks like Flippy jumped the gun a little bit there. Thatcher was prone in the hallway. The only way I can imagine is he had to run in front of Thatcher's gun there.
Ooh, Camo will go down by Reven, but he'll be injured as he drops through the hatch trying to get back to cover. Turns it into a 3-on-1 at the moment as Enemy at the top of the stairs shoots one shotgun, gives away his position.
Oh no. Enemy missing 2 shots onto those players.
And here it comes. Karzeka needs to move around. Looks like his teammate, he might be going to pick him back up, so therefore we will have a 2-on-3 engagement with 60 seconds left. We've got Razor, who's in meeting hall. He's getting one last look with his drone, going to pop on down and possibly push in as Ash from the back way, as you've got the remaining 2 attackers, Thatcher and Capital, pushing down forward. So Razor waiting for enemies to move on forward. Now Reven here inside of the supply room, right outside of the laundry door. He hears the smokes going down. Looks like the shotgun from Enemy will take down Razor from behind. The last 2 attackers are going down for the plant now. And there it goes. You're going to see Capital here at the top of the drop hatch. This is Karzeka looking right towards Enemy, and he's trying to prone his way through, waiting for it. And now you're looking at Thatcher over here. So Thatcher, he's now coming around. He's up top as well. Reven might come around for the flank. He's inside a meeting hall, turning the corner. But we've got right there Thatcher. Shockwave sees him, but will not get the final shots down. He will be injured, or sorry, will be down almost to an injured state and finally finished off by Karzeka. And there's Shockwave getting the last shot down onto Enemy, and it will go round 1 to E2 Esports.
Wow, that was a really interesting round, very chaotic. A lot of hard hold by the defenders upstairs ended up costing them 3 players early on, and then only 2 players left to anchor. And one of them only barely made it back to the site with getting downed as he was falling down, or falling down the drop, that is. And so now we have, okay, Vitality playing the aggressive game and E2 answering with, okay, you're going to be aggressive, we're going to be just as much. We're just going to waltz into the building and we're going to win our engagements. And that, yeah, it gave them the advantage early on. Now, are we going to see from E2, are they going to do something similar? And in fact, they're going to be defending upstairs first, which is something we've been seeing a lot more of lately. The meta has evolved to, I think more people prefer to defend upstairs because you have a lot more options. As a defensive team, you can play a little bit more dynamically. Instead of being forced to play hard roam or hard hold, you can play it a little bit more fluid. And I have to say, I think this is the right decision by E2. And it really comes down to how Vitality is going to take this. Are they going to try and push into Armory? Are they going to try and push into Master? We'll see.
Yeah, one of the things that surprised me, and maybe I just misunderstood Team Vitality's mentality during the interview, is they said they were strat heavy. They were cohesive, or they were concise. They knew what they wanted to do and how to get it done. I took that as being conservative. Right, but you can still be very aggressive and still have a very solid strat, and that looks like what they tried to accomplish, but it just didn't work out for them on round 1.
I think they're probably playing. I think maybe that strat would have worked against a different team. But when you're talking about E2, who is very clearly, as we've seen here, a very aggressive team, just pure aggression. I don't think it's the right decision to try and have a hard roamer strat on basement. I think in that case, it would be the right decision to be a little bit more conservative. And I'm sure Vitality probably has a strat to hard hold in the basement.
And we've got Kamba here. He's holding a soft angle, waiting for Reven to try to push out. But he's been droned, and that means Blackbeard is just going to sit here as well until he gets his team to come around.
And there we have it. They're going to thermite open the armory wall to give their Blackbeard visibility into the hallway so that they have more room to work with. Whoa, and a pick from Blackbeard onto Kama is going to give them the man advantage.
Yeah, so that was the peek he was waiting for. He himself held the soft angle and forced Jaeger to make that original peek, and unfortunately, that was going to be the end of his life there, but Reven still inside of Armory, looking for the cam, and we'll pick it off for the time being. Now, the remaining defenders appear to be all on site, I want to say, except for Castle. Castle might be the only one who's away. Trying to take a look. He's actually
all the way in meeting.
He is in meeting hall. It looks like Panix is going to drone him out and come in from the hole that was made previously. Comes around for the pre-fire, but he's already managed to get off of the stage. And there he is, spots him, and Razor will go down by Panix. What a good adjustment there by the Sledge. Now Now Rise is going to pick off Shockwave with the 5.52 or 5.56, apologies, from Thermite. So right now it's a 5-on-2. You still have Doc and Smoke alive. Smoke's going to toss out one more gas grenade, trying to stop Rise from pushing into the middle dorms there as the wall has been opened up. And Doc is going to sit right inside of the bedroom on top of A. You've got Panics right outside of the meeting hall window. Right now, this is that middle dorms window. On the other side, waiting to throw a nade, and he thinks that there might be someone in the close corner. Fortunately for E2, there is not. But Panics is now going to move in forward here, along with Rise. They're about to collapse on the remaining defenders. You've got one inside of A. He's going to get taken down. Olem's taken down Kazark. And you've got Flippy. Last man alive. He's going to go for the peek. Gets rid of Blackbeard's shield and his head. Moves in with a shotgun, but Olem's is there to take him down for the count.
So what we saw from Vitality there on that particular attack was a little bit different than what we were seeing from E2. It was, okay, yes, they were, you could say they were aggressive, but not really. All it really came down to was they established themselves in positions to win their engagements by simply waiting. And they did just that. They waited. E2 walked into their crosshairs and ended up losing. The only aggressive push they really had was there at the end, and the sledge killing the castle in Meeting Hall. Other than that, it was pretty much just, let's hold an angle, let's wait for them to peek us, and they did just that, and gave them such a man advantage early on.
But that wasn't even really, the sledge kill in Meeting Hall wasn't even really an aggressive one. It was just a well-droned out, a well-informed kill.
It was the most aggressive. But they clearly, Vitality know what they're dealing with here with E2, and that they just need to play a little bit safe, just wait it out, and E2 will walk into their crosshairs. And it's working for them right now.
All right, and so it is round number 3, 1 win apiece for each of the teams, and we're going to go upstairs to where Vitality, they didn't win downstairs, but they're deciding let's go with our top floor hold instead.
I think this is the right decision. Typically when you lose a bomb site, sometimes what a team will try to do is they'll try to bash their head against that bomb site until they get the win. But it's very calculated by Vitality here that they're going, okay, no, we lost that. We lost, our strat did not work, our holding upstairs did not work. So instead of trying to mix it up and go there again, what we're going to do is we're just going to see what happens on upstairs. Maybe we can make this hold successfully.
Yep, and so Kazarka is going to be back here looking at Red Tower. Now, previously, this is actually where he had died. No, I'm sorry, no, he had gotten the kill up here last time. Right on to, I want to say it was
a Rook, I think.
It was Rook. But we don't have a Rook this time to see who it was.
There's no Rook, so a very speedy lineup coming from Vitality, all 2 speeds and 3 speeds. No Rook, no Doc. No Echo for that matter, no hard anchors, and it's similar to E2's lineup here. Again, no 3 speeds, or sorry, no 3 armors at all in this entire matchup right now.
So what we just saw there is Flippy's going to be inside of Armory, and Capital was on top of the roof, trying to make sure that no one was going to rush him as he drones out from Armory. But we do have Rise, who's inside of Red Tower stairs. He's going to navigate all the way down and try to push on a flank, but he's got Castle there trying to help him out too. Now, Panics is going to be inside a meeting hall, making sure, but I want to say what we're looking at here is Panics and the, I'm going to say, was it the Jaeger in Red Tower, Rise. Right now, they're just trying to work together to be a distraction. They're nowhere near the bomb site.
Waste as much time as possible, and they're doing just that. E2 is, they're centered around, well, big window here, and they are making their way into Master here. This is the push that we're looking for.
Yep. And here is Karzeka getting down and Rise for the count. That's the Jaeger that was in back tower. So again, this is wasting more time from by Team Vitality against E2, and they've got 60 seconds left. Looks like they're going to be doing a push from the big window potentially.
Vitality still has full control underneath with only a minute left. They can C4 anyone who just tries to plant in the site, and there's no one on E2 to try and stop that besides Shockwave outside front door, and he's not playing very aggressively. Whoa.
Right underneath. Oh, it's going to be Enemy moving forward with a shotgun to get Kama down. A very good push to get down the Hibana. Now Flippy's going to expose himself inside of the hallway. More bullets will force him into the master bedroom. And now over into middle dorms where we just saw Smoke sitting. That was going to be Enemy. Enemy Kid takes a couple bullets into the shoulder. It's going to force him to crouch and feel a little bit pinched in. There goes the shots down, and Flippy will come out as the victor of that engagement. Reven still underneath, but it looks like the plant might go down. Ash is going to push into the big window of A, be taken out by Panics. A 3-on-3 at the moment. We still have our Buck, who's trying to get the plant down. It looks like he's still doing it. Kazeka's going to get Panics as LMs is going to get Flippy, and Kazeka will go down by Reven. Shockwave, though, picking up LMs. A 1-on-1 now. Diffuser did not get planted. It looks as though Buck might have pulled up. So Shockwave, last one alive with 1 second left. He's going in for the plant. Reven's going to move forward, and there's going to be the end, and Team Vitality takes round number 3.
That was extremely close. Team Vitality just barely stopping that plant. It looked as though Buck stopped his plant in the middle of it, getting a little antsy, and as such didn't get it down in the end. Now we're looking at 2-1 in favor of Vitality. The right decision to defend upstairs instead of trying to force out that downstairs hold.
So in that instance, with Buck trying to get that diffuser planted, as someone who's probably been in that position, what are you expecting to hear from your teammate or your teammates in general to make sure that you're still in the clear when you hear gunshots?
I'm expecting to hear that we have Armory wall open. There's a Blackbeard sitting in there. He's telling me, okay, hallway's clear. I got your hallway. And then I'm expecting somebody to be behind me in closet to tell me that he's got my stairs, my close stairs from kitchen.
Gotcha.
Or, which they did not do, I'm expecting my team to have taken underneath so that we've established control on anything that's not the actual bomb site. Not sure what's going on right now, guys. That is really weird. But it looks like it's stopped now. So anyway, I expect to see or hear from my team that we've got somebody in Armory. He's holding my hallway. We've taken underneath, and we've established dominance on the roamers. And I'm free to plant because nobody's going to come up from my stairs, and nobody's going to come through my hallway, so I don't have to worry about anything. That's what I expect from my team. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. E2, they didn't deal with the roamers underneath at all. They sent no people down there to handle that. They sent Shockwave outside the front door to try and deal with in case a roamer tries to rush into library to stop the people from getting themselves in through closet. But ultimately, it didn't help them at all. Yeah. So not enough presence downstairs, I think.
I agree. I definitely agree with that analysis. And one of the things that we're seeing Shockwave do right now, we threw out 2 cams towards the front. Now, a lot of times when you see one Val cam, you kill it, you think, okay, you're in the clear. Why would they put a Val cam, 2 Val cams in a single room? And here's actually something that I think they're trying to get the upper hand in with their information and their mind game.
Yeah, sometimes if you put 2 Val cams in the same spot, the team will shoot one and not think that there's going to be another. Now, this is interesting. Vitality is repelling into tower. Now, it looks like what they're going to try and do is push their way through attic, and yeah, they're doing exactly that with their thermite, and just give themselves another angle to work with above this meeting hall bomb site. Now, it's really interesting that they're defending basement, and their focus right now is on taking meeting hall.
And Karzeka right now is going to try and play the little hide game, but Alems is going to spot. Oh, Alems doesn't spot him yet. He did not see him, so he's going to call it all clear. Panics, though, is still going to move forward in a very cautious manner. And so we're going to see possibly an engagement here with Jaeger on top of Attic as enemies down here outside of the red tower waiting for Riser to make another move. But Karzeka here is waiting for Panics. He's going to push on up. Oh, he needs to stay up and get the shots, but he's going to drop instead. All he had to do was just peek up. He could have gotten 1 or 2 kills potentially onto Sledge and Thermite. But instead, there's going to be 3 E2 members downstairs inside of the meeting hall at the moment where Enemy is trying to pick off one of them.
We heard from E2 that they're confident in their gun skill, but unfortunately, Jaeger showing us just the opposite and ultimately getting picked off by Alems.
Panics is there to pick up another kill there onto Kama, though. Now, Castle was here inside a meeting hall. It looks as though he may have dropped down and recovered with his team. It appears to be so as he's inside of the supply room.
Yeah, they did their job. They wasted 2 minutes of time, but they lost 2 operators for those 2 minutes, so I'm not sure that's worth it.
I think as long as you still have your smoke alive, there's a chance you can get the win.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right about that.
Now, Razor playing a little bit aggressive underneath of the drop hatch. Reven moving on down the back stairs. Gases are being thrown on out. Smoke grenades are being tossed as well. Flashbangs, that might not get Ryzen. Oh, it does get Ryzen. He's actually going to sneak right next to him. Raven, you got to look to your side, but no, Razor's going to pick up 1 and be killed from above by Enemy. A 4-on-2 engagement left with 25 seconds to go. Shockwave's right and tucked away in the corner. Smoke grenades might give him a little cover. Flippy, though, looking down the hallway. He's going to spot Alems. There's the turnaround. Alems is going to get one. Panics gets a team kill onto enemy. 3-on-1, and there's going to be the kill. Ooh. Flippy picks off one. Actually, they kill each other there in the final engagement.
That was a beautiful play by Alems, locking out that round. Unfortunately, we won't get to see it a second time because it was a trade kill. However, well played, Alems. Good job. That was a bit of a mistake by the Blackbeard towards the end there, walking through the hallway, not checking his corner. Yes, you flashbanged him. That doesn't mean he's completely disabled. You've got to finish it off, and unfortunately, just not enough droning being done there, given the fact that it was late in the round, had to make that push, and just didn't tilt his head enough. So 3-1 in favor of Vitality now. E2 seeming to be getting a little bit read by Vitality, and they're just kind of trying to, I think it seems like they're trying to play the dynamic game, and it's just not working out for them.
I think Team Vitality has adjusted very well after that first round where E2 took them. Yeah, no, it seems like, like you said, I think they've got their number. I think they're just trying to play off of what they know about E2 now. They know they're an aggressive team. They know that they're kind of a team that has confidence in their gun skill. And again, I want to touch on that. Jaeger could have gotten a double kill very easily. Attic was cleared by Vitality. They thought he wasn't there. And he didn't know that, sure. But it showed the fact that he didn't have confidence in his ability to win that engagement by peeking out when he fell downstairs. And again, ultimately, because he didn't have that confidence, he died not having achieved anything. I feel like I know for a fact that he heard the drone. He might not have seen it, but he would have heard it. And you know the wall got blown up. So even if you're going to drop, it's still in
risky.
Your best interest to take a peek.
And then also your teammates are calling the fact that Sledge was shooting through that drop. You could hear it, and your teammates had to have said something about it. So it really makes you wonder. But anyway, it doesn't really matter in the end. E2 now 1-3. And they are going to be bringing there, again, a very aggressive lineup to the board here versus Team Vitality's slightly less aggressive defensive lineup. They've brought back the Rook. Now, seemingly the only operator in this entire match that's been 3 armor.
Now, here might be another engagement again between Karzeka and Alems. Alems was taken out the first round here, and it might be the same case because he's looking through a very similar window just on the other side. The drone will spot him out, and therefore Alems is going to have to relocate or be risked out being killed again.
He's taken that risk. What we saw there last is he was re-peeking that window after being droned. And I think he's still there. Yeah, he's just playing deep on the stairs, and he's coming back now.
He's coming for the peek, almost overextending himself to Karzeka's view. And there's the kill. Flippy, though, taking on the shot to Rook and taking him down.
I understand the idea of playing a Rook in that tower, but unfortunately, if you get droned out, you're pretty much useless. You have to play a little bit safer.
There's a lot of utility up in this top floor between reinforced walls, barbed wire. A nice shot by Rise, getting Razor at the top of the stairs. He's going to peek on out, trying to get Flippy. He gets him down, but doesn't get the kill. More shots coming in from the window. Not going to touch him just yet, but Kama going to pick up his buddy here, Flippy, as well. That's Diffuser that could have potentially been down.
This is well done roam by Rise this time, not just getting picked off, getting that first kill, and now he's done his job. No matter what, even if he dies here, he's done his job. He's wasted time, and he's gotten a kill.
Yep, and so right now Rise is being pinched in from 4 attackers. You've got some pre-fire happening in from Shockwave. Looks like Kama will go down by Panics coming up from the side here. Now, with Shockwave at the back stairs, you've got Capita that's moved in. Where has the Jaeger gone? He must have rushed on out or dropped through the hole, as you just have Panics here in the middle dorms. Now he's able to pick off another kill, a triple kill for Panics. Can he get the last kill with a pistol? No! Shockwave is going to be there to take down Panics. Now a 3-on-1 with 40 seconds left. Diffuser has to get picked up by Shockwave. He's got 40 health to go in a 3-on-1 scenario.
With 30 seconds on the clock, it's not looking good for him. Unfortunately, this round pretty much played out entirely by the roamers. Jaeger doing an excellent job, Bandit backing him up, even though Rook got picked off early.
Agreed. And so with 20 seconds left, unless Team Vitality is going to make some massive errors here, it looks as though it will go to match point after here.
Uh-oh. He's looked away.
Looking away. There's the flick from Reven. Turn around and get the shot down onto Shockwave.
You know, E2 said they have confidence in their gunplay and they know they can hit their shots, but it seems like Vitality are just hitting those snaps right now. And maybe it's just they're in the zone. They're in that place where they know they can hit everything. But all of their players seemingly, you know, we saw Lems rush in and kill 3 people. You know, earlier. We saw that was a crazy snap by Valkyrie there at the end. So E2 not showing up in the way that we're expecting them to, unfortunately. Are they going to be able to bring it back, though? They are going to be defending Kids Dorm again, and this is going to, I think, this is going to be a good opportunity for them to, turn this map on its head. They're bringing the Mira. That's going to give them a little bit more of a versatility, more options here on this particular defense. So maybe they'll be able to utilize that. This is the first time that we have seen Mira, and they're also bringing a Doc. So it's a heavily 3-armored lineup. This is counter to what we've been seeing from them throughout the entire match. Counter to what we've been seeing from both these teams, really. Agreed,
and I think it's worth noting that you had said earlier that some teams will bash their head against a single site trying to get it down. This is their 3rd attempt at it. Yep. The previous 2 were unsuccessful, but they are changing up their operators. Yeah, they're at least trying something new. They know that they want to defend upstairs, but they also know that it hasn't been working, so, okay, if we can't make our roamer game work, if we can't make our 3-speed, operators work, bring some 3 armors, give ourselves some more HP, some more room to breathe, and I think that's the right decision. I really like the way that they're setting this up. They're putting that mirror on the wall, and with that mirror, you're going to be able to see. You're not only going to be able to hold Master, but you're also going to be able to hold the stairs themselves, as long as you have somebody holding your flank from Armory. I actually like that line of sight that he's got on that mirror window.
Yeah.
From mirror window, you saw him opening up the hole in the wall. He's able to see the stairs.
Yeah. And he's going to be playing, it looks like an Armory. Now, that's really sensible. Holding Armory is going to give you a lot of options and going to deny a lot for the attackers in a way that if an attacker gets into Armory, he opens up that hallway wall, he can then have line of sight to cut off rotations.
And that just might be the end of Shockwave. He is tucked in a corner with no way out, but right now, Blackbeard doesn't know exactly where he is. He will give away his position. Another flashbang goes in. There's 0 flashbangs left here for Reven. He's going to have to either find another way in or risk rappelling in and getting Shockwave to kill him.
They're spending a lot of resources on this Shockwave in Armory. And Vitality, or Ravon, now has a direct line of sight in where he knows Shockwave to be.
Ooh, almost a headshot there. Just narrowly missing, scraping his side. Down to 70 health with a C4 in hand at the moment. Now we've got a master balcony, or master bedroom balcony push here from Rise. Looks like enemies trying to hold from underneath. Reven's decided, I don't have the utility to necessarily get up there, but that doesn't mean I should give it up that easily. So he's going to stay on that window. Kama might be trying to help a little bit. Looks like Addict's going to get opened up here by Olems. And now with still half the round left to go, we're not seeing too much of a push. It's almost like let's wait for the angles, or let's wait for an aggressive peek from the defenders.
And they get just that after they push their way into Armory. Enemy getting a pick onto the Mira as I looked like she was trying to run away from Armory. I think that was a bit of a mistake there. Now, Thermite's going to be able to open up that wall, and again, they're going to be able to cut off those rotations. They still have a whole minute to work with, and this is match point. This is, this is the last chance, the last bastion for E2.
Again, so we're seeing a very similar player setup. We have 3 upstairs, Castle's still downstairs, most likely in meeting hall. But the walls are getting opened up. The Team Vitality is starting to push in, starting to collapse, and they've already baited out 1 smoke. They've got 2 left in 45 seconds. Plenty of time to make this push successfully. And you do have Panics inside of the attic. Razor trying to come up from underneath, coming out of the meeting hall, working his way up, but he's been spotted by Blackbeard and Reven, able to cover the flank down. Karzeka, though, able to get a Lems to make it into a 3-on-4. 30 seconds remaining. Looks like Ash is going to have one of her breach charges taken away by the ADS. Trying to get rid of the barbed wire. That will be successful, the second one. That's going to allow Reven to move on forward. With 20 seconds, they're still pushing in. Looks like Karzeka's going to get another kill here on the Panic. Gets a 3rd kill. Could it be all his work here? He's going to get another, well, actually Flippy's going to get this one to the enemy. Last man alive. Looks like that's going to be Thermite. Flippy, though, able to get the double kill for his team. And that is E2 trying to stick with it here on map number 1.
That was an excellent round from E2. They kind of messed it up a little bit with their Armory hold, right? They lost a player early on, and well, it wasn't even early on. Actually, it was pretty far into the round, but they did lose their Armory hold player without him trading back at all. However, Vitality got stalled out on their take a little bit. They couldn't push their way all the way into sight, and because of that, E2 all they had to do was wait, and they did just that. And ipso facto, they went around.
I think that was a very it was a great example from E2 on how a team should continue to hold a bomb site to the last second.
Patience.
Yeah, patience. Patience was key in that angle, or in that way.
Yeah, it was a good execution, and honestly, that's not what I expected to see from E2. That patience. But we have to touch again on the way that they adapted their roster, or not the roster rather, but their operator picks. They switched to a heavy 3 armor operator pick lineup, and two of them, Doc and Mira. And I think that was ultimately what gave them that round. They were like, okay, aggression is not working.
Yep.
So let's try passiveness, and it worked perfectly for them. So maybe, just maybe, they didn't change their attacking lineup at all, but maybe they're gonna see a little bit of that translate to their attacks, and maybe they're gonna play a little bit more passively, hold some angles, wait for Vitality to peek into them, the way Vitality's been doing to E2. Because we saw, Vitality played the same exact game they had been playing the whole time. It's just E2 didn't peek them.
Agreed. And so, like you noted out here, the attacking lineup is the exact same as it's been for 4 attacking phase so far. And I'm curious if that is going to be kind of one of the downfalls of their play here on Oregon, especially moving forward into the future of the Pro League this season.
No, you have to question that. Are they going to be able to make the adaptation? Are they going to try and work in Glaz or Montaigne? Or are they going to simply just kind of go with what they're familiar with, what they're comfortable with? Because you could see from this lineup, the only person who's really, who's probably made a sacrifice to bring the utility instead of playing the operator that they want is Thatcher. Maybe the Thatcher player wants to play Thatcher. But he's the only one who's, everyone else is, all these other operators, they're fraggers. As much as they are utilitarians, and you've got your Captau arrows, you've got your Habana breaching rounds, but they're still fraggers.
Yep.
They've got that high-powered gun and that 3-speed.
So here we have Flippy getting rid of the castle wall inside of Armory, but he's been able to take this without any kind of hitch his way. Now with Bombsight being upstairs yet again, will we see any kind of, shall we say, awkward shots or unique shots? I don't quite know yet, but we do have smoke right around the close corner enemy going back and forth between the middle dorms and the close corner on the hallway by Flippy.
And you could see that the defenders are not actually playing in Attic. They're simply using it as an option to rotate back into the site for their meeting hall guys. But I don't think this is the right decision. You've got 2 players on site right now, just 2. You've got 1 playing towards Junk Tower, and you've got 2 in meeting hall. If the attackers simply force the issue with the 2 guys in sight, they could probably just plant.
Yeah, if you just look at, we just saw the outlines of Jaeger and Castle. Castle was in meeting hall. Jaeger looked to have either been in lobby or in the front of meeting hall. They both look to have been holding a very similar angle, and that's not necessarily what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you do have Razor, who was able to pick off Panics. That was the Castle going down, but Rise swinging around the side will pick up his own, and Shockwave able to answer back, taking down Rise.
And this is E2. They've complete gear shifted. They're playing so much more passively. They're waiting for Vitality the way Vitality waited for them, and another pick from Karzeka. And now it's a 2-on-4 with 30 seconds left. They have the time advantage.
Oh, and Alem saw the tip of the barrel there. He's able to get 1 kill, but can he get another? He will down Kama as Raven will pick up Shockwave. So, last man alive, all he's got to do is just throw it up and get the double kill. He's going to misfire it.
No!
And it will not land. So close to getting the down teammate as well as the remaining standing operator from the attack squad. 15 seconds to go. Diffuser will get planted inside of A as we've got Hibana stationed inside of B to hold down a push here. Now Raven's going to move in potentially here through the middle dorms. Will he be spotted out? Flippy though, very, very tightly tucked into A. Now Kama's watching the stairs. Reeve is waiting to hear some of that barbed wire move. There's the push on out. Flippy's going to turn his head to the side, and Flippy will get 1, and that will be the kill there onto Reven. We will see E2 come on back. It's 4-3 at the moment.
Wow, that's truly unfortunate from Ravon. That C4 almost locked out the entire map, but no, just a little bit off, a couple feet to the left, and unfortunately, we see now unfortunately for Vitality, that is, we see a 3-4. As you said, E2 making their way back into this map. They really are showing that they can adapt on the fly to the way Vitality's playing. Because at the beginning, we were saying, okay, Vitality, they were just on attack, they were just holding the angles and waiting for E2 to peek. E2 stopped peeking, and then on defense, they were hard roaming and just winning their engagements because E2 was getting a little too aggressive, and so E2, they stopped getting as aggressive. They started doing what Vitality was doing, and now Vitality's making that mistake on defense where they're peeking into E2 who are holding the angles. It's a complete swap of roles.
Yeah, this is one of those, like you said, swap of roles, and we're actually seeing Doc will get put away, I believe, for mute this time, but Shockwave is still going to be that Mira, and that Mira play, while it didn't progress to be a kill, it did progress to take a lot of time away the previous round when they were holding on to the armor.
Right, and I think on the basement for mirror is going to be even more useful. You put that mirror in the closet, which is what you're seeing her. She's probably going to do in about a second here. You put it down in this closet, and you have so much more information on typically where a team will plant in the lobby. Plus, you can challenge it directly. So I think this is it's going to help their hold a lot more. It's pretty difficult to deal with those mirror windows being on that wall. What you can do is you can shoot a Hibana charge onto them, but then if there's somebody playing in laundry and you don't have anyone set up to deal with that, they can simply shoot the Hibana charges off of the mirror. So it's it's a big dance and it's very complicated. The way to counter it typically is to, instead of trying to take lobby, opt for a construction take.
Yep. Yeah, either push in construction, possibly go down red tower, but we know that all of the teams here have always played off a site with at least two roamers.
Right.
And many of the times we've seen them stuck inside a meeting hall or even in red tower. So this is where Reven's going to come into play, trying to clear from above, but LMs is already there. Panix is holding the very top, so we are seeing a red tower push.
Yeah, it's a red tower / construction take. We've got somebody out in, looks like, yeah, the Thermite is waiting to push into construction with Ash, and they're going to probably open up that wall and push and smoke their way into B and just try and get that plant down.
See, I like this a lot from Team Vitality because if you take a look at where all the utility has been spent from E2, it's towards the front.
Yeah, it's to stop that lobby take. You're absolutely right. I mean, and Vitality, they just read that and they're like, okay, we'll just go the other way then. And that's the correct decision, I think.
Now we do have Razor, who's inside a kitchen. He heard the explosion inside a meeting hall, so he's going to back out of kitchen and possibly wait to make sure he doesn't get droned out. But right now he's just sitting outside a kitchen L. And Reven working his way down as the rest of meeting hall will get opened up here momentarily.
Take it back.
Yeah, and I think this is a big mistake on Castle's part too, is he's anticipating people to try and take from lobby, and he's castled himself out of meeting hall now. He's a null factor. The best he can do is maybe go up to attic and try and drop down if he's got that wall open, but other than that, he's not helping anybody.
Yeah, it looks like the only wall that's been opened is that little stock room inside of the kitchen facing meeting hall. But they've already got that on lockdown.
Oh, okay, if that was open, then yeah, he's got a rotation back, but even so, he's limiting himself by being on that side of the map.
Agreed.
He's probably going to rotate back into the side at some point. And we're seeing from Vitality, 1 minute left on the clock. No picks from either team yet. 5-5. Oh, but there's the first one.
Now Karzeka will pick off enemy here. Still plenty of time, though, for Team Vitality to make the push, but they'll have to do it soon. Karzeka's coming around for the flank, though. He's coming down the back stairwell as Razor is working his way into the meeting hall. He's waiting for that right point in time. Olem's working his way down here as we also have Blackbeard right behind him. Smoke grenades are going to go out. There's going to be the mute. I believe that is Rise, sorry. Rise, no, I'm sorry, that is Flippy? I can't see the name at the moment. In either case, that is Mute who was pushing down some...
Kama, it was Kama.
It was Kama, that's right. All right, Panix and Reven, though, able to take down Shockwave and Kama as Flippy gets Rise with a smoke grenade. Now Blackbeard's shield will get destroyed as his head does as well. Karzeka coming on down back to site. Razor able to take Olems. A 1-on-3 swap now. E2 could come back to tie it up. We are going to go into overtime on map number 1.
That was a fantastically a really well played round from E2. Okay, so here's what happened. Vitality, they got their push in, right? They avoided the mirrors. They're like, okay, we can't handle that. They got a little distracted with those roamers though, but they lost a player to the roamers. But they didn't full commit to dealing with them. And because of that, Castle and Jaeger were then allowed to come up from behind. Well, Jaeger actually went back into the site, but Castle was allowed to come up from behind and fully lock out that round in favor of E2. Because Vitality, they jumped in between what they were trying to do. They were, okay, we're going to push straight in. We're going to just, forget about the roamers. And then they lost a player to roamers, so they got a little distracted. They slowed their attack. And then they lost some players on their push into the site. And then they finally made, okay, we have to just push in, and roamers come from behind. I mean, you've got to make a decision. You've got to commit to something, whether it's the right decision or not. Because otherwise, you're just going to find yourself between a rock and a hard place, and you're not going to win no matter what.
All right, so what we're going to see here from Team Vitality looks to be similar lineup, similar position. We've always seen Valkyrie go in, throw a camera, reinforce the wall facing the dining hall. It seems as though the defensive setup is very static or very similar to what it's previously been.
I'm interested to see. They don't have a Mira on this basement defense, and I honestly think that that's a poor decision. The Mira brings so much to holding that. I mean, yes, okay. If you invest all your utility in holding lobby, or the lobby drop, okay, maybe they'll just attack from construction, but then you know they're going to attack from construction. In either way, you're forcing them into one decision or another. Either it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for them because they're facing your utility with your mirrors, or it's going to be hard for them because you know they're going to be attacking from construction, so you stack it. And I'm really kind of disappointed that we're not seeing the adaptation from Vitality on holding that basement within, the addition of Mira that we saw. We did see that with E2.
Yeah, I feel like a third of the battle on defense is knowing where the push is coming from.
I totally agree. I think that has a lot to do with it. And again, you can force them into that decision. But instead, they're opting to have an extremely hard roam game, which I don't think worked for them. I think this was the first round that E2 won on this basement when they were roaming this hard.
Correct. And Team Vitality, I think, did alter some things previously because we did have Rise, who was upstairs, and Panix as well. Panix did get almost the quad kill, or the triple kill.
Yeah, he actually totally dominated on one of these rounds. But I think the problem for me is that it all comes down to those roamers.
Yeah, and so you can see some of the blind shots from Razor will go through the mattress into the wall and hurt Rise a little bit, but not enough to get him to fall down just yet. We did see those smoke took quite a bit of damage, though. I believe that was downstairs from a push. Ooh, Kama will go down by Olems. And now Shockwave will also get taken out. Here is Rookies goes for the third kill there onto the main stairs. Now E2 did the correct thing. They let go of the roamers and tried to push down main stairs, but when you're still facing Olems, who's the Rook, you still need to have some authority down there, and they didn't have it.
Yeah, you're totally right. They couldn't win those engagements, but it looks like they're planting right now. The plant's been stopped by Panix. Or no, sorry, I was mistaken. That was the smoke. And now the Fire Arrow finally going to be able to take out Olems. Not that it's going to matter. 3 versus 1 now.
Karzeka will drop silently. He's got to pick up the diffuser, but as soon as he stands up, enemies on the main stairs to take him down, and Team Vitality will go 1 round up in overtime.
And that was an excellent basement defense from Vitality, but it really honestly just came down to Olems. And you're right. You're totally right. They did the right thing, the correct decision. Okay, there's roamers. Let's go somewhere else. But I think they made it in the wrong way. Instead of going for a lobby take, okay, you don't have to deal with that mirror, sure. Maybe just try to go for a construction take because it is just as contained as a lobby take. You take control of tower, easy peasy. You push your way through construction, and then you have one person remain in meeting hall to wait for those roamers to start their flank and just push your way in. I mean, but instead they opted for lobby, and Olems just nice quick 3K, easy peasy, hold that site.
And I think one of the things you mentioned there was if they would have navigated over to the red tower, done a construction push, you can more easily lock out the roamers.
Yeah.
Because they've only got the attic and meeting hall to push back towards you. They can't go any other way without being detected.
And that's just one direction for somebody to hold with a gun. And it's as simple as that. But now we're going to see E2. They are going to be holding upstairs. Will Vitality be able to calculate their aggression, calculate their holds a little bit better? Will E2 start peaking again? Or is this going to come down to, again, what we saw last time where E2 played a little bit passive, they just waited for the Vitality team to push their way in, and they ended up getting those frags when it mattered the most in the last 30 seconds. We don't have a mirror this time, so they weren't going to see that awesome, angle from the mirror onto the stairs. But I don't think it's going to matter. Obviously, Vitality, it didn't really stop Vitality last time, so I think this is the right decision, bringing Mira out of that rotation. She's a lot more useful in basement.
Yeah, and so I mean, E2 is 1 for 3 on this top bomb site. However, when it counted, they did pull out the win. And so this round also counts for them.
Yeah.
This is a win or loss because this is map point for Team Vitality. Now, one of the things that we're going to be seeing here again is Reven going up onto the parking, onto the armory window, facing off against Shockwave. Now, last time Shockwave was here, he was a Mira. He was able to dodge a couple death shots, but ultimately he was picked off without doing anything other than wasting time from Vitality. But it was enough to force Vitality to rush in forward.
Yeah, and it did win them the round in the long run. But I'm curious, is Ravon going to be able to follow up on these flashbangs? Because he is full flashing him, and if he repels in while flashbanging, in theory, he should be able to win that engagement. I just think he doesn't have enough confidence in the flashbangs themselves to actually blind that Valkyrie.
Agreed. I think the correct move, now that you've flashed him once, make sure he's tucked in the corner, have someone drone it out, flashbang twice, and then repel in. Because
Bingo.
Not only are you blind, but you also have the sound audible that you can't hear the repel start to click in.
Exactly. But instead, they're going to opt to try and take him from underneath, using both ass charges from the garage to try and get a line of sight onto him. But he's just going to reposition to another corner.
Yep. Oh, Razor, though, trying to take out Olems, but Olems goes sideways as he gets into the window. taking him down to the top of Red Tower. Red Tower is now his, as Shockwave is tucked inside of his corner yet again. And there are 0 stun grenades left from Reven, so again, Reven's gonna have a lot of trouble making his way into Armory.
And there's less than half of the round left, and he's just dancing in front of this window, almost taunting him, continuing to waste time. He knows they have to get him out of that corner.
Now it looks like Kama and Enemy are gonna go head-to-head here. Shockwave will finally fall to Reven, but taking 2 minutes off of the clock from Blackbeard holding down that hallway. Tremendous job there.
And only a minute left here. It is a man advantage for the attacking team, but it's still, you know, Kama out here ready for that flank.
Now we are going to have Flippy inside of kids' dorms. Kama's trying to come from underneath. He's inside of the classroom right now. Last time he tried coming for the flank, it looks like, ooh, I don't think Enemy saw him. Enemy will get picked off from the peak outside. Kama gets 1. Man count is back to even. However, Kazeka gets another kill, being the dock yet again. Can he get another 3K? He's gotten 1 kill. He's going to go for Reven here shortly. He spots the shield of the Blackbeard, but Blackbeard peeks around through the smoke, able to take down Karzeka. A 2-on-2 at the moment, 15 seconds to go. Flippy and Kama each have a trade or each have a crossfire. Looks like Kama's going to peek around the corner here momentarily. 7 seconds to go. The plant does not go down. Kama takes down 1. Blackbeard's last man alive, and Flippy gets him with the SMG-11. And this is going to go into round 11.
And this round went the same exact way that the last upstairs defense did for E2, and the same exact reason that that Shockwave wasting time in Armory, denying Blackbeard access to it for so long, just like practically the whole round, he's just sitting in Armory. He's not doing anything. He's not shooting anyone. He's just darting between the 2 corners behind the window because Blackbeard can't seem to do anything about it. And honestly, I think it comes down to, like you were saying earlier, you know, test it with 1 flashbang. Okay, then you know, have your teammates drone him, because clearly this is the main issue and should be the main focus of your team overall. Have your teammates drone him, find out exactly what corner he's in, throw both your flashbangs, 1 in the corner where he is now, 1 in the corner where he will rotate to when he sees the flash, and then just repel in and kill him, because he has to be flashbanged in that instance. You got to be a little bit more aggressive. You have those flashbangs, you have that potential to get him out of that room. You're just not capitalizing on it. You're wasting too much time.
Yeah, I think the perception of Blackbeard has rolled over from the very beginning on him being a static window peeker, a static hallway peeker,
Yeah.
and that I think has flowed into the mentality of E2.
And you really don't need to do that.
Sorry, of Vitality.
Yeah, you really don't need to do that. He doesn't have to be that. When somebody's blind, it doesn't matter who you are repelling on a window. He's blind. He can't see you. You've got flashbangs. You've got that potential. And then also, there's other options. There's other ways to handle it. You don't just have to, you know, you could have had those ash charges from underneath sooner. You could have had a buck from underneath sooner. You could have had somebody come up the main stairs and just rush in along with the flashbangs. You don't have to repel in.
Now,
you know, you've got a lot of choices.
I think this is the first time E2 has changed up any of their attacking lineup, and we're going to see Sledge instead of Buck.
Yeah, no, that's not a huge change, but a change nonetheless. And it doesn't look like Vitality is going to be trying to stop anyone from going into Armory, and they're going to find that out real quick. And this is the sort of time wasting that ET was doing that Vitality is just not. They've got 2 players in Meeting Hall, but how much are they going to be able to influence this round from Meeting Hall?
So Bandit has been spotted. That's a Rise inside of Meeting Hall, as well as I think Jaeger was there. So they know that there's a pair, a duo inside of the Meeting Hall. And what are they going to do about it? We'll have to stay tuned and see as Riser's moving around towards the back entrance of Red Tower.
And straight into Armory, and guess what? There's 2 minutes on the clock instead of 30 seconds, so plenty of time for them to work on or work with here. And they have complete control now of half of the top floor. They just have to worry about people coming from behind, and that shouldn't be too much of an issue if you can just establish a line of sight onto that ladder and the stairs in the lobby.
Now Flippy again still moving forward. It looks like Hibana, that is Kama, going to get the closet opened up from the master bedroom into the middle dorms. Still, like you said, plenty of time. There's only 2 attackers upstairs. And this is one of those sites where you only have 3 ways to get back onto site without being detected. So right now, you've got the attackers that have control of 2 of those methods, or two of those avenues.
We're seeing from Vitality here, again, a little bit of an indecision. They're trying to deal with the roamers, but at the same time, they're trying to simply push into the site. And this is what we saw from them on their basement attack that they lost, and it ended up costing them the round. They need to get a little bit more concise with their decisions here. They need to either push the guys in Meeting Hall and lose or win based on that, or they need to push into site, ignore the roamers, and lose or win based on that instead of wasting time like this. Because now they're down to a minute. They got into the site, or they got into Armory so quickly, but only a minute left, and there's the first pick.
So Lems will take down Flippy. That's going to be the Sledge who managed to make his way into the top 4. Kama's also going to try to challenge Lems here, but Rise able to pick down Razor. I believe that was still inside of the meeting hall at the moment. This is where Jaeger is. However, two defenders are very much hurt. So it still is in the realm of E2 to get this clutch, but there's only 30 seconds left, and they need to make a push. Shockwave's still outside of the main lobby. He's scared of Rise, who's inside a meeting hall. He doesn't know that there's only 25 seconds. You've got Karzeka, who's outside as well. He'll get picked off. A 5-on-2 at the moment, 20 seconds. You've got Rise coming up the back red tower. Kama's the only one on site. He's able to get enemy down, 4-on-2. But again, 15 seconds left. Shockwave's moving on forward now. Lems will get Kama. Last man alive is going to be Shockwave, who moves on forward, and Reven will take him out. Team Vitality will win this 6-5.
An extremely close match, and again, a lot of role swapping going on in that matchup. At the beginning, you had Vitality being the patient ones, and then it was E2 being the patient ones, and then finally at the end, very, very end, Vitality pulled it out. They applied their patience, and E2 got a little confused with that attack. They weren't sure what they were trying to do. Were they trying to get rid of the roamers? Were they trying to push into the site? It got a little spread out, and it ended up costing them. Wow, a very similar scoreboard from these two teams. Look at that.
3-11, 9-5-5, or 3-11, 5-4-4.
Yeah.
Very close.
Yeah, extremely close. But that's the first map, so that's Oregon out of the way in favor of Vitality. And but again, we have to talk about how close that was.
That was.
Vitality brought it. They brought it to the. It was match point 4-1, and then just E2 just turned around and said, "You know what? We're gonna go ahead and start making this comeback," and they couldn't finalize it.
So here we have some of the highlights of this matchup between these two on Oregon, and Reven coming up around to get that final kill onto him. But this right here, I want to see. I hope we get to see Lems's triple kill.
Yeah, we got to see the first kill of the triple kill, but we all know that was a triple kill, and it was a very impressive one at that. And I think you were trying to touch on the fact that he just walked into that site and won those engagements.
Yeah, and so Lems again.
And there it is again.
Doing a lot of work here. He gets that double kill. Here's the triple, the third of his kills. There it is. So I mean, you saw both teams. You had basically Karzeka and Lems were the triple kill masters there of that series.
Yeah, they applied a lot of pressure to the opposite teams. They did a lot of work, both of them. And I'm curious to see if that's going to continue on, that trend's going to continue on when we go into the next map, which is going to be, I think, what was it? Consulate.
Yes.
So we are going to see, they're trying to move around some players right now, and we're going to see what happens on Consulate in a moment. But let's talk real quick about that last matchup and how the momentum shifted back and forth. Because in the beginning, it was favoring Vitality, right? And then E2, they started making their comeback. And what do you think, attributed to that? I'm curious.
So, to me, I from the very get-go, from the first round, I thought E2 had it in the bag because of their aggressive. So it was aggressive push on the attack side, going after Team Vitality's defensive hold.
Yeah.
That was sporadic throughout the entire map. They were very spread out. But when it started getting to Team Vitality's favor, I think what E2 had to do, and what I think they did successfully, was they really took a step back and said, we don't need to be as aggressive as we thought we had to be. I mean, we saw that when they finally won their top 4 bomb site, they were holding the soft angles.
Right.
They were the ones that said, okay, we can be aggressive, but we don't need to be the ones that are disadvantaging ourselves by going for the peak.
I definitely, I concur with that assessment. But, yeah, no, we're waiting now to get into the next match, which is going to be Consulate. I'm just trying to tell me something right now that I cannot hear.
Yeah, no, so it's all good. So we are just waiting on 1 or 2 more players to swap sides here. But like you said, going back to Oregon, like I said, I think the thing that put it into E2 to bring back that drive was their change in mentality, their ability, possibly their in-game leader, or maybe it was their coach or manager in their ear saying, let's slow it down.
Yeah, but and it's a little sad that they couldn't lock it out, too, because they had that, obviously clearly they understood how Vitality was playing throughout the middle of that match. They got their number, they figured them out, and then they just could not, they couldn't lock that out in the end. They couldn't solidify their win. And it's a little disappointing to see because they kind of choked a little bit, I mean, they spread themselves too thin.
Yep.
They had, I think it was 2 players by tower, and then 2 players trying to push in upstairs, and then 1 player trying to keep downstairs control in lobby to deny the flank, and it's too spread out. There's too many players at different ends of the map trying to fulfill different roles, and you need to decide. Again, we were talking about this in the middle of the match. For Vitality was the one making this mistake earlier. You need to decide on if you're handling the roamers or if you're handling the site itself.
Yep. And I think there was a distinction. We saw that happen midway through when E2 decided to push on down the main stairs. When Bomb Site was downstairs, they decided to push on down, and they had the right job, but Alems had gotten that triple kill. They just weren't prepared for it. But now we're here on the Consulate.
Yeah.
Talking about bomb sites, we've seen people kind of push and hold on to the top site the majority of the time. Do you think we'll see any middle bomb site holding here?
Well, okay. So the theory with Consulate is that it's like a big breakable square throughout, right? You can shoot up and down through pretty much the majority of it. And when you're dealing with the middle bomb site, as a defensive team, you can then try and hold it from below, or you could try and hold it from above, or you can do both. So it comes down to how the offensive team are then handling it. Okay, are they going to try and take above for your lobby hold? Or are they going to try and take below for your lobby hold? And how do you, as a team, a defensive team, how do you handle that? So if they're trying to enter into below, do you simply move everyone from your team upstairs instead of trying to engage them front on? Or do you hard hold it? Do you push more people from your defensive team downstairs to try and trade back the kills and whatnot? And it just comes down to the teams. But I think from both these teams, I don't really expect to see a lobby hold. It's just as viable, in my opinion, as upstairs or downstairs. But I expect both these teams to try for a garage upstairs hold. It's just a lot more common in the European meta.
I'm always skeptical of mirrors that throw their windows in connectors where there are windows, or on places where all it takes is an attacker to rappel up and shoot it to open it up. Because the objective of that mirror is to give you a line of sight one way from one bomb site to the other in most cases. Well, now you get a Blackbeard on that corner office window. You have someone on the connector window to shoot the little oxygen tank. And now Blackbeard has a perfect line of sight through connector.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But at the same time, on Consulate, on this particular map, I think upstairs, there's very few places you can actually put that mirror that will actually aid you. I think maybe a better setup would have been having one that looks towards the yellow stairs from inside B, and then another one that has line of sight from the little kitchen area up into into CEO. But it looks like a pick early on from Flippy onto their Thermite. That's going to throw their strategy, whatever it would be, into a little bit of disarray. When you're bringing a Thermite to an upstairs take, that means that you have a distinct idea. Whoa, an unreinforced wall in B.
Yeah, that entire place is unreinforced except for the little sliver. So
yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm curious as to why they're doing something like that. That means they can't play anyone in that corner.
Now, as you saw, Thermite did get picked off from the B site the A site looking right on down. It looks as though Alems gets downed. Not finished off just yet, though, but he is down for the count. Now,
that mirror that we were talking about being a little bit of an odd one is their entire pivot for this whole hold. They have no one in B to stop. The doorway's been castled, so the only way for them to stop a B plant is through this mirror. And all they need to do to stop that for Vitality, all they need to do to negate that is simply repel on the connector window, as you were talking about earlier. Or even you can get it from the balcony outside of A.
Now, it looks like Alems will get picked up here momentarily. Kama's going to be spotting out Panics here. I believe that is outside on the balcony? No, I'm sorry, that is yellow stairs.
So their other way of holding the B site, I was mistaken. The other way of holding the B site is they have that pulse underneath. So he's going to be able to C4 anyone who comes in for the plant.
Yep.
But Vitality, they haven't really established themselves on anything here. They, again, are a little bit confused on their take.
Ooh, Razor will pick off Enemy and move on forward into the middle stairs, the circle stairs, moving his way up. A 5-on-2. Now, this is something I think E2 is obviously looking looking forward to. Panics has been called out here on the yellow stairs. Hiban has been injured, so Bathroom won't get opened up. So that means there's only 2 attackers left. However, now there's only 1, and they know he's on yellow stairs. Razor's going to call out Reven. You've got Panics coming on down. He'll be picking off Razor, though. And now last man alive, Shockwave gets him down for the count.
A good defense from E2. And I like the way that they're handling this B hold. Now, it was interesting to me that how they weren't reinforcing the closet, but clearly they've just got an entirely different setup for this hold. And Vitality doesn't seem to know how to handle it. Now, E2 talked about how they're not a very strat-heavy team, but that was clearly a bit of an innovative strat in of itself. I mean, like something we haven't seen before, really.
Correct.
They're not playing anyone in B. They're not even reinforcing the B wall. They're playing a pulse underneath, which is pretty typical, but then they're also playing a mirror in the connector. Now, I have to argue that strat could be easily countered by simply repelling a Blackbeard on the connector window, or taking Bathroom, because they weren't holding that either. They had holes to shoot people who came into Bathroom, but you could smoke that out. I mean, I feel like that's a really counterable strat. It's just Vitality wasn't ready for it, and they fell into the trap that E2 set up for them.
Yeah, it almost seemed like Vitality in that sense, I'm sorry, E2, yeah, no, sorry, Vitality in that sense came in with, we're going to attack this bomb site this way, and that's that.
Yeah.
They didn't seem flexible on the fly.
And yeah, and it ended up costing them. We have to wonder, are they going to be able to adapt then? Are they going to see the way? Oh, looks like they're doing something similar, or at least along the same lines as what E2 were doing. However, they're not bringing a castle to totally isolate B, and they are going to be reinforcing the closet wall. So I'm imagining they're probably going to place somebody in B. Anyway, you have to imagine, or have to wonder if Vitality is going to be able to take what E2 just did, see the way that they held that site, and apply a direct counter by repelling onto the connector window. Oh, actually, I just struck me. I feel a little bit stupid now. They did repel on the connector window. We saw that castle run out the front door. They had no one in position to stop them.
Correct.
So they tried to counter their strat. They weren't set up well enough to counter it.
Agreed. And I mean, so going back to the mirrors being placed in places where you can repel and get them killed off, you see Blackbeard, you just called it, going up to the connector window. The mirror window inside of the bathroom is in the same location. It's right by a window that can be picked off or can be opened up for yellow stairs.
Yeah, but Vitality's going to be playing it a little bit different. They will have somebody hard holding in bathroom, see if it works out for them. This is almost reminiscent of the armory hold that we were seeing earlier. However, I feel like even, especially in this position, it's a lot easier to flashbang somebody in bathroom. You throw 3 flashbangs in there, there's no way they are not blind or have left the room.
Agreed. All right, and so we do have 2/3 of the round left. It looks like enemy's feet will be tagged by Shockwave. Give him a little bit of a wake-up call that he needs to stand up and be more active, because right now he's being pinched inside of the A site. Now he is right behind Razor, though, looking to see, will he spot his head? Not quite there yet. Alems will get down the Blackbeard. Enemy, though, finally taking down Razor, who was peeking upside down. That is Demon down. So we're going to spot here. Enemy gets droned out. Shockwave's going to go all the way to the roof. Reven gets Kama. Here he is. Reven now spotting Capital on top of the yellow stairs.
And it's looking a little tight here for E2. 2 versus 5 now, and one person is known to the Vitality team lineup. It looks like they're going to repel onto the B window. I guess they're assuming that nobody's playing in connector. They're right in this instance, but it's kind of risky.
Now Shockwave is on that corner office window. He is going to repel on inside. Will someone be there to catch him? It doesn't look like it. Karzeka's going to get panics, though. It looks as though Alems with the MP7 gets down Karzeka.
Blackbeard has made his way into the site here, but he doesn't have the diffuser, so it's not really going to matter in the end.
Nope, it's over here on top of the yellow stairs. They now know where he's in. He knows he's inside of the site, and there will be the kill by Ryzen right onto Shockwave.
A good defense from Vitality, playing something or some of what E2 did. Similar, right? They brought the mirror, they used her in a kind of a similar way. However, they didn't play as hard on it, not as hard as E2 was expecting, because E2, their entire hold was pivoted around this pulse underneath and the mirror playing in connector. If those two things had been taken out of place, then Vitality would have been easily been able to take B. But Vitality's hold, on the other hand, was a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more fluid. They had their roamers, sure, but they weren't pivoting around a pulse underneath, and they weren't pivoting around somebody playing in connector. The mirror was there, but it was not essential to that hold. They also didn't have anyone in B. So it seems as if the way that B is being held by both of these teams is just around the site itself. It's nothing in the site, no one hard trying to hold it. And wow, now, okay, again, something I did not expect. This is a lobby hold coming from E2. Now, they are the new team on the block. They are trying to introduce their own new stuff to the meta, and I think this is an example of just that. We have seen lobby holds before. It's nothing new or anything like that. However, it's pretty uncommon. Most teams opt to hold garage instead of lobby. And we have seen 2 defense wins, one by each team here so far. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a defensive-sided map, and I'm wondering if Vitality are going to have a read on this particular hold, if they're going to know how to handle this lobby, or if this is going to catch them off guard.
One thing I am concerned about, though, is downstairs in Piano, they reinforced both sides of the doorway into Piano and the 2 large walls inside of the bathroom. But that must have just went up. I didn't see it before. I was going to call out the wall by the drop hatch. maybe I just missed it. Poor lighting or
So
whatnot.
the
but
way they're going to hold piano, for those of you wondering, is you can see Pulse there. He's playing in a bathroom, right? And he's got that drop down open. So if anybody comes into piano to try and plant, he simply just has to drop down, pulse them, and C4 from underneath. So he's not playing dedicated to downstairs, which is good because that's where Vitality's pushing. It's very safe that he's doing it that way, but he can go downstairs if he needs to.
Agreed. And so here's Panics getting ready for the bridge communications going, and Alems is going to drone that out first for him before he pushes on forward. But again, this downstairs back push from Yellow Stairs is what it looks like Team Vitality's trying to navigate towards.
And they're applying pressure upstairs as well. It seems like they're trying to cut this map in half and just simply take the west side of the building. And it looks almost as if E2 is going to let them do that. They're not going to try and force anything out. Vitality working their way into the bathroom here, going to try and counter the pulse position, and it might work for them.
I like this job by Hibana and Sledge, each droning out, saying that, hey, we can actually open this bathroom up, make sure they're not going to stick in there. That will force them out to one side or the other, but Karzeka, all he has to do is just stay put, punch one wall or punch one hole into that door, and he'll have control of that hallway.
They're taking their time here. They don't want to make any huge risk by vaulting in, getting picked off, especially by Karzeka, who's waiting for him.
There it is. All it takes is one look out. Karzeka's looking, and so is Reven. They're not going to turn their back. Panics moves on in. They're waiting for the window shot. Now he sees the bullets going his way. Nakama, you had spotted earlier, is inside of piano. He was able to drop. He did do so, and Panic's there to get the kill. You still have Mira and Smoke that are upstairs. Looks like Smoke might be working his way down. Panics gets another kill onto Flippy, a 3-on-5 at the moment. Panics working his way. He gets a triple kill onto Razor. The last two alive going to be Mira coming down Yellow Stairs, and you've got our Jaeger tucked inside of the offices by Visa. Now Shockwave lands some bullets onto Blackbeard. That's going to down him, but not finish him off. Karzeka moving on forward into the circle stairs, looking his way right there. Panic spotted his gun. Looks like he's going to get his 4th kill of the round. Can he get the ace? It's all up to Mira now. A 1v4 clutch is what's needed. Diffuser has been planted. There's about 20 seconds left to go on the clock. Now Mira's working her way down the Yellow Stairs, I appear. She's still above. She's coming down around, and it looks like Panics gets his ace of the round, taking down Shockwave.
An excellent round by Panics, but moreover, an excellent take by Vitality in of itself. I honestly have to attribute that loss, though, to the Jaeger, who failed to peek the second window, which is where the entirety of Vitality vaulted their way in. He could have easily gotten one or two kills at the minimal on that particular round, but he opted to play a little bit passive, and because of that, his team got collapsed on. He neglected his role.
He did. It was either that he didn't realize the second window was open, or he thought that looking at the second window would expose him to the first window. But in either case,
beside the point,
it's right next to each other.
Right.
You should be able to look and see that.
Yeah, and Vitality, they're going to be defending basement. This is a little bit more atypical what we expect to see. And I'm not sure. I mean, I think it might be the right decision in their case. If they don't have any strats established for the lobby hold, then that makes total sense.
Agreed.
I like the way E2 was trying to hold that lobby. I just want to say I like the way they were trying to do that. Again, I just really feel like Jaeger neglecting to peek that hallway aggressively what ended up costing the round. He may have gotten picked, right? He may have died to the Blackbeard who was holding the angle, right? That's entirely possible. But again, it's beside the point. He neglected his role. His whole role in that instance, when they're attacking from that side of the building, is to stop them from coming in through the hallway. And because he didn't do that, collapsed on his team. But anyway, moving into this round, they are going to be holding somewhat in lobby. Now, this is kind of interesting, the way that Vitality has set this up. They are giving Ravon here a wide berth and a lot of options for rotation to try and hold this lobby.
So 2 things to note here. 1, that drone got a lot of information saying what's open, what's closed. 2, this is what I love seeing about Castle. Castle's able to basically turn a map on its side and say, look, no, these are the new avenues that you're going to flow. Yeah.
And on the note of that drone, you could tell how much information they got because he got off of his drone before it even got destroyed. He was like, okay, I know all I need to know now.
Yep.
I'm going to play off of it now. But because they have that player in the bathroom trying to hold that piano, they're wasting a lot of time. There's already 1 minute off the clock, and it doesn't look like the attackers have gotten themselves into the building yet.
And so now what you see over here is actually Ash doing the upside-down rappel, trying to spot down into Garage, maybe get rid of the bandit charges so that they can thermite the wall. But Thermite's on his drone at the moment, calling out that Jaeger's going to be in corner office.
Looks like they did get those bandit charges. So Thermite will be able to open up the garage, but even if you get the garage open, it's difficult to push your way into the site without having some dominance upstairs, which means they're going to still have to deal with that Valkyrie.
So they are still thinking that the castle is inside of the bathroom, but he's already navigated out. He's up at the top of yellow stairs. Karzek is now cautious as he pushes it on into the Visa office.
Attackers have located a bomb.
But it looks like the garage wall did get opened up successfully, if I heard it blow correctly. Shockwave inside of the main lobby looking towards Reven. Reven, I think, has moved himself back into the bathroom. Shockwave very cautious. Right to his side is going to be Reven. There's the gas grenade. That's going to force Shockwave to back on out. That was actually a good toss from underneath, I think.
Yeah, it came from pipes. That is really excellent teamwork from Vitality. Revon calling out the fact that he is being pushed by a Blackbeard, and Smoke is like, okay, I can help you with that. And it looks like their smokes are trying to go through that wall, but unfortunately the hole was not opened wide enough.
Oh, and there he is. Shockwave pushes in and takes down his counterpart of right there on Valkyrie. But he still has to be wary as above because that is Castle right above him.
And there's only 40 seconds on the clock here. Only one man down for the defenders.
And Rise is going to take 1-on-10 to Karzeka. 4-on-4 now. As we say that, Panics will go down by Shockwave. Shockwave's going to move on down, possibly go through the drop hatch after he gets it all cleared. You've got Rise who's inside of pipes. Shockwave spots him and gets the kill. A good shot by him. You've also got Smoke at the bottom of yellow stairs by pipes now. Last gas grenade gets exposed, gets tossed on out. Shockwave, if he drops, might just take one bullet to kill him. Enemy picks up Razor. A 3-on-2 at the moment. 10 seconds to go. Shockwave gets another kill into 11 and gets the 4th kill onto Enemy. That is a 4K for Shockwave.
An excellent round from Shockwave, certainly. Now it seems almost as if whoa, that was nasty shots.
Very nasty shot.
It seemed almost as if the mistake that the defensive team there with Vitality, what they were doing there is they just simply could not stop that Blackbeard from getting that push in. And again, it looked as if those smoke grenades, they were pre-planned, obviously. It just seemed like the wall wasn't opened enough because those smoke grenades intended clearly to land in the hallway outside of bathroom. And you have to wonder if that had happened, if those smoke grenades had landed where they were intended, would Blackbeard have been able to push into that Valkyrie in the bathroom?
I don't think he would have pushed, but at the same time, you say it was planned, but that hole was actually opened up by the attacker. That wasn't there before because you had Buck who came in and tried to light up the wall there. That was a closed wall at the start.
Well, then maybe I'm wrong. I guess no, I am wrong.
No, it could have just been good analysis by Valkyrie, and they're saying, hey, look, you can actually throw that up there. It might not have been pre-planned, but it could have still been planned.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to be seeing an upstairs defense from E2 again. Now, they did, I think they won this round because they had a good placement from the mirrors in the connector and a pulse from underneath. Now, Vitality, the question is, are they going to be able to read that defense? Because, again, it is so easily countered. Take care of the pulse underneath, and then propel your Blackbeard onto the connector window, and that strat is kaput. It's done. You can just push into the B site and get your plant down. So, are they going to be able to execute that, or are they going to have trouble with it again?
Now, I'm curious if Thermite is going to be wary of the previous time they tried to push this site because he died at the front door early on in the round.
It's interesting to me that they're bringing a Thermite in the first place. This is an upstairs attack. I wonder if they're bringing it for redundancy's sake, for just in case they try and defend basement.
It's very possible. I mean, that's one of the things. If you're going up against a team that you don't know necessarily how they play, you have to play the safest route.
Right.
Because if you guess wrong, your entire strat goes belly up.
And again, as with almost every round so far, the team on defense is attempting to hold piano and bathroom. Now, this is a common theme. Seems like every team is trying to do this, where they attempt to hold piano and bathroom because it's almost like a staging ground for the attack leading into any site.
It is a very, very prominent and important site to hold, or just
position
to hold. Yeah. And so we do see them trying to take control of it, but Paulus was there. Castle had dropped downstairs to the garage, almost a tap onto Flippy's head, but he's behind a non-destructible wall. Shockwave, though, trying to give Reven a little bit food for thought as he makes sure that he doesn't repel in quite yet.
Which is interesting to me. I mean, in theory, you want him to try to repel in because he can't do anything from that window as long as you're there.
Correct.
And we do have, looks like they're going to be actually waiting for that run out this time. A Thermite repelled onto the balcony just in case.
All Kama really has to do is just jump out. He could potentially get 3 kills. If he jumps out the left window there, he can get a Lems, then Enemy, and then the Thermite repelled onto the balcony. This is all up to Kama. How is he going to play this? He hits once. Oh, he could pop out here momentarily. He hit the window twice. He's prepping it. He's waiting for the shots. Oh, Lems is there now. He heard the hits. It's just a matter of him waiting. Lems is going to fall, get to a better position, go on over to the corner office. This is going to allow Kama to drop out and get a kill onto the connector window. If he can just spot enemy.
If he decides to do it. If he jumps out that window right now, you're right, he gets 2 kills flat out, but he's just not making that call.
Lems has made his way into the yellow stairs right next to Kama. And you've got Karzeka here on the back of lobby stairs, or sorry, Visa stairs, making his way up. Lems still at the top of yellow. Reven still. Riva is pushing on in, and Rise will get Flippy down. Now we do have Blackbeard inside of the corner office. Reven will get Razor. He's managed to make his way in. Enemy, though, going to take out Kama. And now Karzeka is the last man alive. He's going to get a double kill onto Lems and Rise. It's a 2-on-1 at the moment. Karzeka now moving forward. He's got to watch behind him because that's where Diffuser just went down. But Reven will get the shot through the wall into Karzeka's head and finish him down. Vitality taking round number 5.
Based on the way that Karzeka peeked at, I don't think he realized that mirror was open.
I don't think so either.
If he had realized that mirror was open, he would have ADS through it. But a good round from Vitality, playing it exactly how they needed to, playing around the fact that there are players downstairs and around that mirror, getting rid of it early on, and covering for the run out this time because they understand that it's going to happen. And unfortunately, a little bit of a lack of confidence on E2's part caused Pulse to not run out that piano window, and if he had, again, he would have gotten a double kill easily. After Lems left, he had free reign on dropping out the window. He didn't have to be that particular one. There might have been a Claymore on it, but, you know, any of the windows, really, he could have run out, even the front door, and gotten an easy kill, or 2.
Yeah, I think Kama definitely missed an opportunity there. After he spotted Lems move on over to the corner office and out to the balcony of Garage. If you get 1 kill and you do that, you're still in a good position.
Yeah. I think what was happening in his mind was, okay, I'm the Pulse. I need to stay underneath B to deny the plant, but then he didn't do that. So it ended up not really mattering. It was of no consequence. And now we're going to see 3-2. Vitality looking to put this on a match point on their upstairs hold. How is E2 going to handle this? Because the last time, I think they got a little bit stalled out on the first floor is what happened. And then, you know, Vitality, they also had some people rappelling into offices here. And Vitality just simply picked them off as they were coming in.
Yeah, what we haven't, I mean, we've seen every time someone get up onto yellow stairs, but there really hasn't, it's kind of just been, think of it like Clubhouse. You just have someone go down Garage Tunnel or just down Blue Hall. You just have someone there just to lay a little bit of pressure. But I feel like if they put more effort into those yellow stairs, they can either open up bathroom or open up the small sliver into the corner office.
I agree. Maybe applying even some pressure, repel somebody on the bathroom, get somebody into bathroom. That can give you a lot of control, assuming that you can do it successfully, of course.
Yep. All right, so here is Shockwave out on the corner window. Now, no one's going to contest him just yet from the connector.
But we have a run out. It looked like that run out was from the, where was that? That was all the way from Visa. Wow, that was coming out the, looks like he may have run out the window or he simply just walked out the front door. Either way, he got that early pick onto the player on balcony. And that's going to give them a huge advantage leading into this round. Ash is a big factor to get off the board that early on.
Yep. So here we have it, a minute 45 to go. Shockwave still in the corner office window. We've got someone, I believe, who's repelled upside down on the connector window. That looked as though it was going to be Kama, but I think he got back up to the roof. He is here. He wants to go opening and open up that mirror window, but for the time being, he's not quite sure on what he needs to do. He's running back and forth. It almost is like there's a breakdown of communication on where to make a push from.
I think the reason for that is because Vitality is playing around their strat so very well.
Yep.
You can see, ooh, a nice pick from Karzeka downstairs onto one of the roamers. That was the bandit who was running out earlier from Visa. But it looks as though Vitality are playing around E2. They're playing around what they know E2 wants to do, which is to get themselves into B. And instead of trying to stop them from getting into B, they are simply waiting for them to get into B. Because when you're in B as an attacker, you're pretty exposed to the rest of the defensive operators. So if they don't lose it, if they don't get picked off as a defensive team early on, they can easily retake B at any moment. And that's their plan.
So now Reven knows there's a Capital on his yellow stairs. He's got to be weary, though, of Kama, who's the Hibana, on the connector window, because he does have a line of sight into bathroom. But Kama, at the same time, is very cautious of enemy trying to peek on out. And so with that, that is a gas grenade that got thrown out. Shockwave did manage to get himself in. The C4 throw, though, doesn't explode as Shockwave takes off the head of Reven. A 4-on-3, 20 seconds to go. Enemy still inside of the A site. Now Shockwave looking in towards the doorway. He's not going to be able to navigate through. Hibana does have the diffuser, but she was last seen on that connector window. So Shockwave trying to hold it down. He's got to either rappel in or come up the stairs. Enemy hops on out. Rise will get the shots there onto Kazeka. And there's Flippy who will pick down Enemy. Rise will get another kill onto Kama. And that is going to be the round here for Team Vitality, taking round number 6.
Now, unfortunately, they got their attack down eventually, but they just didn't have enough time. And because Jaeger came up from the yellow stairs there to stop that plant, or actually, I think he came straight from reception to stop that plant, it ended up, now Vitality's on match point. They spent too much time dealing with those roamers and then equally so not dealing with those roamers. And in the end, they didn't have enough time.
Agreed. I think a lot of that, like you said, came down to time management. I think a little bit of confusion. I think there were conflicting...
Because they're trying to push into B, but they're establishing themselves in a way to get those picks on the players in B or around B, but there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So now, okay, what do we do? Well, there's roamers to deal with as well.
Yeah.
They died to... One person died to a roamer, but then they ended up... They executed their aggression. The Capitao got that bandit. So that was a really good thing. That was a good push. They got dealt with one of the roamers. But in the end, again, there's no time.
So it looks as though we will be on match point as well as series point for Team Vitality. They had won the first map on Oregon 6-5. If they win this round, they will take ahead this series 2-0.
Razor and Kama look like they're having a bad match right now. But so are Alem's and Enemy. And Alem's, one of those players last match, he dropped some major bombs.
Yeah, Alem's had dropped a lot of kills previously, and this time, I mean, granted, you might have different roles on different maps on different bomb sites, and that could be what we're seeing here from Alems, is he's playing more of a support role rather than a fragger role.
Absolutely.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Now we are going to spot Echo. This is, I think, the first time we've seen Echo in this series.
Yeah, it's definitely the first time we've seen. I think it's the first time we've seen Echo like today. Did we see him at all in our last play day? I don't think we did.
I want to say we did. I don't recall off the top of my head though.
He's a pretty rare pick in Pro League, to say the least. He's along the lines of Cavaria, not really operators that are commonly picked here. But if it fulfills the role that you're trying to execute, then so be it. And what they're trying to do with him is keep him in the bathroom. He's got that high-powered shotgun, which is a really good one, by the way. He's got 3 armor, and he's got his own little drone to give him information.
We are going to see one little engagement here between Enemy and Razor. Almost killed right there through the window way. Now Razor's looking to make sure that Ash is not going to get the peeks he wants. Razor looking for it. He's going to actually prone. He goes for the shots, and he actually gets her. She will fall down without taking a single point of damage off a Razor. However, Bandit on the other side of the map has been injured, down to about, I want to say, 3 health remaining on him.
And that was a good read by Castle to deny that Ash. It's a pretty typical play from Ash there to open up that floor and trying to get rid of the Bandit. And now Vitality, because of that, looks like they're going to be adjusting their attack to take straight up from Visa and from the hallway, or from the back hallway, instead of trying to force their way in through Garage, because now they've got to deal with the fact that they can't debunk that Bandit, or not debunk, but rather get rid of that Bandit.
Now this is where Karzekia needs to start communicating with his team, telling him, look, they're coming from the back, they're pushing down low. Karzekia did have his feet spotted, and it looks like Panic saw it and got him down. Now making it back into man count, they still have over 1/3 of the round left to go. Olems and Panics are going to be pushing on forward, as well as Reven. Now, they have to be cautious. Kama is inside of A, along with Shockwave behind the van. But where are the other 2 defenders? Looks like we're going to have one who's been injured. That is Reven being taken down. Looks like Blackbeard's shield did not hold up all the way. Panics wants to hold onto the angle there, but it looks as though Kama might get him. He gets Reven on the random shot. Olems, though, takes down Shockwave. Panics is over here. He'll go down by Kama as well. Goes with the pistol shot and backs on out. 43 seconds to go. Last one alive is going to be Rise, going up against 3 defenders. That's going to be Echo up top, looking down through some of the holes. He's just been disoriented. Kama comes around and gets his 3rd kill of the round onto Rise.
So it looked like they were trying to distract the defensive operators so that they could then, Vitality could then push in through Garage and get the plant down, and it kind of worked. But unfortunately, they didn't use up enough time of E2, and in the end, Thermite, when he got into the Garage, he was alone. He was like, "Hey, team, where are you guys?" And ended up not being able to clutch it out. That was a nice attempt by Vitality, but the interesting thing for me is, okay, yeah, they've lost the Ash, so they try to adjust. But they didn't need to. Bandit was all the way in Archives. He wasn't banditing the garage the whole time, so they could have easily just pushed their way into garage and done a standard take. And in the end, they lost to Jaeger playing a 90-degree angle on a doorway.
I like that Valk cam there. Bust open the window of the black car, throw it into the roof or the hood of the car.
Yeah, that is unfortunate now that it's no longer going to be their little secret.
Won't be their secret. It'll be the community's here tomorrow. But one of the things that I did like about that attack push, now it didn't work out for him, but one of the things I did like was they used Thermite to open up garage while the rest of their team pushed from the back. So he's that distraction. If Thermite can somehow manage to...
But he wasn't the distraction because he was the guy with the diffuser.
Agreed.
The guys in the back hall were the distraction.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, continue with your point,
No, I was just going to say that with Thermite, if he's able to act like there's more people out there than just him, and if there's not a roamer inside a server like there was, like I think there was Panics there or someone, now you're able to bring your attackers forward. Take a silent takeover of Visa, then in a server and push in from the back silently while you still have Thermite causing a distraction out front.
I think that would have been a better way to handle it. I think that is a sensible strat and a sensible way to take it. I think the problem was really that their guys coming from Visa, they just got picked off. They lost their engagement straight up, and they tried to challenge Jaeger playing on the bomb in A, and that's really difficult.
It's a very tough angle to push into.
But now we're going to see a pretty heavy roam strat from Vitality. Only 2 people on the site floor, and that means we're going to have again somebody trying to hold that bathroom and then even a castle all the way upstairs trying to stall. But he gets picked off by Razor, repelling on that window, ending up not really wasting any time or doing anything at all.
Yeah, and so Shockwave here as he got. I don't think he got the kill on. Did he get the kill in the castle?
No, that was Ash repelling on the balcony here.
Gotcha. So Razor is still up here on the balcony. He wants to push in. He knows that there's most likely another roamer. That is going to be Jaeger, who's inside of the printer office right now on the other side of admin. Razor's going to spot him out, knows he's there, and guess what? That means Ash has a freebie to push in. So we're just waiting for Razor to push in forward here. Rise holding on to the angle, making sure that if he pushes out towards the stairwell of Visa, he'll be picked off. Razor's still very cautious, though. He's hesitated enough that now Rise has had enough time to navigate somewhere else. Basically, this is as good as he's somewhere on the top floor. That's it. So much time has gone by.
But unfortunately, Ash isn't taking any of that information and utilizing it because there's only a minute left on the clock, and Jaeger's still alive. He's still upstairs, and Ash is, as such, still on the balcony, only just now getting into the building.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tremendous job. Oh, by Rise as he gets the shot under the drone and then onto Razor. A good job taking down Ash.
There's only a minute left on the clock, and they're still trying to deal with this roamer. I can't help but feel this is the wrong decision. You need to compartmentalize your attack at this point and try to execute into the site. You only have 50 seconds left to go.
Agreed. Rise is doing a fantastic job up here in the admin office as Karzeka is still holding on to him. He knows he's stuck there. He doesn't have any utilities to get rid of the drop hatch, so Karzeka has him locked down. But again, this is keeping Karzeka from helping out his team with the fire arrows, with the smoke arrows, trying to help the plant go in. Flippy's going to have the diffuser, and there he finally goes down. Karzeka can now rush his way down.
28 seconds.
Agreed. Like you said, 28 seconds to go. He can finally start pushing down. Alemza's there and gets picked off. This might actually have worked out for E2. 20 seconds to go. They have Valkyrie and Smoke still to go. You're going to have Reven underneath of the yellow stairs. 10 seconds to go. Flashbangs will not hurt him. Enemy's going to get a double kill with a shotgun. Gets out the push from Visa. And now it is all here up to Thermite. He's going to push in. Kama will get one. Can he get the one here on the Reven? It will not happen. And it will be Team Vitality taking this win at 5-3.
Now you saw there at the end there, Bandit getting a little bit more aggressive than he should have, trying to push up the yellow stairs unnecessarily with 20 seconds left on the clock. But, however, Enemy with a nice double kill on that doorway, and then following it up with a third onto the guy on stairs, managed to lock out the round. Valkyrie just doing what he needs to do, playing it safe, not trying to engage the Thermite. And that was an excellent hold from Vitality, and an excellent map overall from Vitality. They read E2 really well, and they were able to execute.
I think what we saw there from Team Vitality was a great opportunity for them to come back together, kind of shake off the mistakes that they made on Oregon, even though they won the map, shake off the mistakes they made on that map and come back, and they seem to be a lot more of a solid team on Consulate here.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, and I have to wonder if E2, maybe they were a little bit demoralized after their first loss, given that they put up such a hard fight in that first map, you know, and then going into the second one, it just wasn't the same.
Sometimes, from a team standpoint, it's more difficult to come back after a 6-5 loss than it is from a 5-0.
Yeah, because in a 5-0, we suck at this map, but a 6-5, it's like
we tried our hardest and we still lost.
Yeah.
That can sometimes be more hurtful to the motivation of your team.
It is a really crushing sort of way to be defeated, but all that aside, the strategy and the reading from Vitality were just on point. They handled their attacks, their defenses really well, except for this one round where they made a huge mistake, and their distraction was kind of just lost all of its fuzz, or all of its fizzle, I guess, I don't know. And yeah, no, they played it really well. That was a great roam by Jaeger at the top there. E2 just wasted too much time on that last round trying to chase him down, so hey, that's all she wrote, really.
That is. So congratulations to Team Vitality taking home the 2-0 win in this series tonight. Previously, we had our other two teams. We had, why am I drawing a blank on them?
Sisu and
Sisu and
E2. No. We just watched E2. It was Sisu and why am I drawing a blank now?
I don't know. Sisu and Barrage.
It was Barrage.
Yes. So
I don't know why I was thinking.
Win,
I was thinking Evie because I was thinking of Quantic.
Yes, I say it was
Sisu versus Barrage, a 2-0 in their favor. In fact, a 10-0 overall. And then on the that's what we have for Group A. And then the match we just watched for Group B was a not as much a 10-0 as more of it, but still a 2-0.
Very close.
Yeah, a very close 2-0 in favor of Vitality over E2. And that's going to put the Vitality in the winner bracket for Group B. And that's our first play day for Europe.
That is. And I think what we saw here was some very good gameplay. I know I was asked previously before today, would we see some strats similar to NA here in EU tonight? And what is your take?
I saw from E2 some similar things that I've seen in NA before in the past, way in the past though. And we saw also some newer stuff. So like that mirror in the connector window or in the connector hallway was something that we just haven't seen before. But that's mostly due to the addition of Mira, I believe. And the way that they were holding B on that upstairs site is again something rather new. Neither of those two teams played anyone in B. Vitality played it for the retake, and E2 played it from underneath and in connector. But both of those ways are kind of a little bit something we haven't seen before. So that's pretty much the newest stuff. As for North America to EU meta, it's different. It's very different. We saw a lot less Glaz, definitely, between these two teams.
I think, do we even see Glaz at all between these two teams?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't remember seeing any Glaz.
We didn't see Montaigne at all. So, I mean, like you said, these teams are trying to work in their own style of play. And while it looks like it worked out for Team Vitality and Sisu, doesn't necessarily look like it worked out for Barrage or E2. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for the EU Playday number 1. And we welcome you back to join us on Monday for Playday number 2 of the North American Pro League. If you're here just for the European, we are back next Thursday. But other than that, I want to say it was a splendid evening of Rainbow Six. We had a lot of fun.
We made a little bit of history with Sisu with a second 10-0 in PC Pro League history.
PC history.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you have a wonderful night, and we will see you Monday for the North American Pro League Playday number 2. Have a great evening.